Chapter 875, Preliminary Round. Chapter 875, Preliminary Round. Proofreader, Papatonks. Of the 1,000+ candidates, a mere third remained, most of which were seasoned in deception. As for the rest, they looked at each other stumped, grumbling to themselves, what kind of preliminary round is this? Bailey Jingwei's eyes flashed, now that the extras are out of the way, we can start the preliminary round. Everyone chilled, having lost their early disregard of this youth. It never crossed their mind the alchemist selection would be so cruel. It hadn't even started and only a third was left. The goal of this round is to refine a 7th grade pill. Seeing them so tense, Bailey Jingwei wore a playful smirk. You've received the ingredient, now refine. Ooh. Everyone was taken aback, with one scrounging up the nerve to open his mouth. Sir, is that all we have to do in the preliminary round, refine a 7th grade pill? What about speed, quality, or features? The people waited for Bailey Jingwei's answer. With how harsh the alchemist selection started, the preliminaries had to be even crueler. One extra condition, at the least, there's no way it's as simple as a 7th grade pill. There are no hidden targets. All you have to do is make a 7th grade pill. Bailey Jingwei had a wide grin on his face. The candidates were still skeptical. Is it that simple? Most of us here can do it. The crowd was tittering from indecision. Considering what they were after in the end, don't just stand there, hurry up and start. Bailey Jingwei saw them with that dumb look and urged them. He was better off not saying anything, as now everyone's eyes shone, having figured out the aim of the test speed. All now wore knowing smiles. They heard him loud and clear, hurry up and start. The candidates ignited their flame and started refining with a smug grin. I'm so smart, getting Sir's conditions so fast, ha ha ha. But as everyone raced to the finish, problems cropped up. The flames differed, some were heaven and earth spirit flames, others beast flames, and even the poorest, Yuan Qi flames, the most basic flame, that of Yuan Qi, was feeling the pressure of the other two types, so much so it was hard for it to even light up. Curses, this is the worst fear of any alchemist in a competition, getting your flame snuffed out. How am I supposed to refine when it won't even burn? They'd have to wait till the others finished. But with speed being the crux in this round, dude, while others finish the race, I'm just running in place. That had the group of average alchemists with the most plain flame growing frantic by the second. They looked around with tense faces as the others showed off their precious otherworldly flames, and the clear contempt in their eyes. Shangguan Yulin now took out his faint blue flame, releasing its own mighty aura, that of a rare heaven and earth spirit flame. It was what the three venerables had prepared especially for this Pill King convention. With this wonder flame, coupled with his high cultivation and weak of hell, he ought to barely make an 8th grade pill. Grinning, Shangguan Yulin glanced at his precious heaven and earth spirit flame, then looked at the far Zhuo Fan in disdain. He reckoned Zhuo Fan was just a 5th layer radiant stage nobody, chased out of his homeland. What could he possibly amount to? A Yuan Qi flame tops. With so many promising candidates in the Pill King convention, Yuan Qi flame was like a bug, trampled around by the other ones. What can you do now? The punk must be panicking right about now, crying for his mommy. Humph. Shangguan Yulin was relishing in his delusion of Zhuo Fan's predicament. But then his eyes glazed over from shock. He wasn't the only one, as many around Zhuo Fan were dumbstruck. Who tilde? A surge of a scarlet flame, 10 meters high, burned hot as the sun. Zhuo Fan looked at the towering blaze with a flat look, while all around him were bug-eyed, unable to get over their shock. Shangguan Qingyang was even more so. GGU, your flame. Yuan Qi flame, why? Glancing at her, Zhuo Fan spoke lazily, leaving her dull and the others with twitching faces. Are you bloody kidding here? Shangguan Qingyang gasped, I know that, but why is it the only one unaffected by the many beast flames and heaven and earth spirit flames? Everyone strained their ears to catch every word. Zhuo Fan looked around, then said, I have better control. I'm sure you know that flame control is crucial to an alchemist. Bang tilde. Something just kept on falling in the background, while Shangguan Qingyang merely staggered as she said in disbelief, what alchemist here doesn't have control? But look at their Yuan Qi flame, it's not even out. So how is it that yours is so lively? The candidates had hopeful looks, wishing to know the secret. As alchemists, they all wanted to improve their skills. This is different. Zhuo Fan shook his head, putting on the most grave look he mustered as he ran his mouth and weaved inanity. A fire has spirit, making it so a high-grade fire would suppress a lower one. But people have spirit as well, just of different character from a flames and aren't affected by higher-grade flames. This is where the problem lies. If a flame spirit joins with a human's, would it still be suppressed? The people gaped in shock. They never heard of this theory in their lives. Wasn't fire fire and man man? How could they join? Zhuo Fan smiled. This is where your control lacks. If fire is fire and man is man, how can your control excel? I'm different. I reached that stage where I'm one with the flame. It is an extension of me, going where I want with a thought. I fear no higher grade flame, and my Yuan Qi flame doesn't by relation. This is the pinnacle of flame control. Oh, I see. Brother is a true genius. I'm in awe of your skill in control. Brother is only in the radiant stage, but your skills are a marvel. Brother must have been focused on alchemy so much you forewent cultivation. Or you'd be in a much higher stage, brimming with power. I truly admire brother's perseverance in alchemy. Yes, we thought we knew enough about alchemy and came to the Pill King convention. Now we witnessed brother's amazing skill. It would be such a shame to fail because of your low cultivation. But from brother's diligent focus, we're sure that brother will one day soar. Your name will be known throughout. Hear hear, ha ha ha. Claps resounded from all around Zhuo Fan. Shangguan Qingyang was looking at him with bright eyes and a wide smile. Only Shangguan Yulin was seething in anger. He never thought Zhuo Fan was so skilled to make a Yuan Qi flame reach such heights. It was the miracle of a true underdog in making others look inadequate. Even he had to admit Zhuo Fan's control was out of this world, crushing the expert's reality, totally unaware that Zhuo Fan's so-called fancy control didn't exist to begin with. It was a hoax. His Yuan Qi flame stood taller than the rest because of the three mighty flames he had. Control had nothing to do with it. Chaos flame, decimating golden flame and the dreaded thunder flame, these three were like emperors, housed in one body. While he only let out a Yuan Qi flame, it was backed up by the three emperors' aura. So how would the beast flames and heaven and earth spirit flames be so blind as to not bow before true power? It was akin to a 4-year-old girl sucking her lollipop, strutting cluelessly through a ghetto, under the greedy eyes of everyone around, but looking closely behind the wee lass, they'd find a million-strong army. Who'd be dumb enough to touch her at this point? This wee and frail lass was Zhuo Fan's Yuan Qi flame, while the army was the three mighty flames, growling at the others to stay away. Thugs could scare children, but scare the army behind them? That's a no-no. Though this was one secret only Zhuo Fan was privy to, while others were completely taken in by his guise of faux control. This way Zhuo Fan didn't have to use Azure Flame and scare off all the other flames when the Emperor came. His way was paved. And that would be showing off a tad too much for his liking. Chapter 876, Top. Chapter 876, Top. Proofreader, Papatonks. Cousin, I never knew you to have such skill. Shangguan Qingyang looked at Zhuo Fan filled with admiration. Zhuo Fan had a smirk on, sticking out his chin. Ain't I awesome? Now, who was it, I wonder, that said my alchemy sucks just a minute ago? Humph. Since when did fire control equal being amazing in alchemy? Shangguan Qingyang blushed, sticking to her guts. Dad said radiant stage cultivators can at most become a 7th grade alchemist. Now that it is a requirement for preliminaries, it remains to be seen if you can pass it. Zhuo Fan shook his head, muttering, aside from the harsh mandatory cultivation stage in alchemy, the core of it is secret arts and control. The last one being imperative to one's results. You and your dad are amateurs and don't know the details. But any alchemist worth his salt is clear on this. What do you guys say? Zhuo Fan turned to the crowd. Yes, yes. Everyone bobbed their heads, with one even speaking out, Miss, your cousin is right. The situation now proves just how frickin' important it is. Why else would we be standing here like this, waiting for them to finish? His colleagues nodded, sharing his pain. Right, if these bums had Zhuo Fan's amazing control skill, they wouldn't be affected by others' special flames and look so down. Shangguan Qingyang returned her eye to Zhuo Fan, but anything can be said when the actual results count. Isn't it all about speed? Say that again once you get into the top 10. Miss, you're being too hard on him. It's not so easy to achieve it in today's Pill King convention, Now with such a tight competition. Since nothing could be done, these guys talked it out to soothe their worries. Your cousin has an insane control, but not on the level of a beast flame or heaven and earth spirit flame. It would be amazing if he makes it to the top 100. Hehe, so you admit it. Control has little to do with actual refining. Grasping the excuse she wanted, Shangguan Qingyang laughed at her great wisdom, shrugging. The people only smiled. Miss, there's so many factors when it comes to alchemy. Control is just one of them. Whether or not your cousin will stand out will depend on his grasp of other aspects. Besides, while we have been debating here, the others have started already. Some are even close to finishing. I now stand corrected. It'd be a miracle if your cousin gets into top 100. What? Shangguan Qingyan's startled eyes looked around, finding hundreds of special flames finishing refining the ingredients, with some of them wrapping up, while their side hadn't even begun. This sudden delay made her feel the pressure and grow angry. Don't just waste time with idle chat. Time's a was tin. The candidates shrugged with a plain look. It's not us chatting here, but young miss yapping on around your cousin. True, I have to give that to them. Zhuo Fan nodded. Have you come to help or hold me back? Shangguan Qingyan's face fell and glared with a pout. How can you say that? It's you who's wasting time yet blame it on me. Look, they're almost done. Shangguan Qingyang pointed over to Shangguan Yulin but then caught herself she at least had the mind to not expose their relationship. Zhuo Fan followed her finger and nodded. He sure is fast, though. Zhuo Fan returned to his blaze, throwing ingredients in it and beginning the process. Humph, feeling guilty so you only start now? Shangguan Yulin smirked seeing Zhuo Fan start at long last. He focused on his own flame then, as the pills were about to be finished. Starting now will only get you north of 300. Shangguan Qingyang was feeling the pressure from all the other exuberant flames around. I hope the preliminaries won't kick too many out so you can squeeze in. Yeah, it'd be such a shame for brother to fail after having such amazing control. But, that'll be hard, the crowd nodded, filled with sarcasm glaring at their audience. Shangguan Qingyang huffed and stared tensely at her new cousin. Zhuo Fan merely smirked, the blaze in his hand warping and readying to finish the pill. The others cried out, Brother, what are you doing? You only got the ingredients in and have yet to refine them. If Zhuo Fan doused his blaze, all the ingredients would turn to ash, a great carelessness for an alchemist. They thought that with Zhuo Fan's control, he'd be a seasoned alchemist. Was he making such an elementary mistake to make up for lost time? But no amount of rushing is worth taking the foolish approach of ruining the pills. The judge up there clearly said the one to make a pill will qualify. But by failing to make the pill, it's all going down the drain. Brother, are you touched in the head perhaps? What's wrong? Shangguan Qingyang was clueless, though noticed the tense looks of the crowd. She guessed Zhuo Fan might have done something he shouldn't. Zhuo Fan beamed, his eyes focusing on the fire. Nothing, they're just droning on. Ignore them. The blaze shrunk quickly, vanishing in moments under the incredulous eyes of his audience. Meng Feitian and Xue Dingxian were right now in a tight competition. They had rare heaven and earth spirit flames, with fires so hot that dyed the sky red. Ha ha ha, old Xue, I'm just about done. The preliminaries are mine, just like before, ha ha ha. Humph, stop with the prancing. My pill is about done as well. We'll see who takes first soon. The two lifelong rivals fought with everything. But one thing was certain, they were both grandmasters and the win could go either way. Bailey Jingwei stood on stage and nodded at the two oldies' rivalry, smiling to a guard, they're true alchemists, old Meng and his junior brother. They're the only ones leading the round. The closest to them are still only halfway. Such disparity is incredible. They're sure to take the top 2 places in preliminaries. Well, of course, since old Meng was an imperial family alchemist. His junior brother, Xue Dingxian, had been competing with him for decades, so of course he'd be outstanding as well. Those random alchemists around stand no chance. The guard nodded. Bailey Jingwei sighed, looking down somewhat. The main reason for this Pill King convention was to draw out the rats and take down Shangguan clan's thieves, but also to get some good seeds for the imperial capital. I didn't think it'd be so hard to go headhunting. Sword King Feiyun's domain only has Xue Dingxian worthy of attention. The others are subpar, lacking sorely by comparison with old Meng. They don't deserve to enter the imperial capital. This only goes to show the Prime Minister's brilliant track record of recent years. Recruiting talent throughout the central area all this time has made them all be under Prime Minister now. Few are those remaining, making it hard to find such a commodity among the people. Ha ha ha, you sure have a slick tongue. The guard bowed and Bailey Jingwei patted his shoulder with a sigh. Maybe so, all I wish is for the Empire to be strong and use talents to their best. Ha ha ha, old man, I'm almost there. This is my win. A laughter echoed, drawing looks. Meng Feitian held a shiny pill in hand, needing but to take away the flame to finish. Shui Dingxian's pill was still lacking, needing but a few more moments to finish. Yet this was enough to settle a victor. Shui Dingxian shuddered in fury, but powerless to fight it. He watched Meng Feitian's revoltingly prideful face, with a smile going from ear to ear as the fire was doused to take the pill. Bailey Jingwei and the guard smiled. It's still old Meng who won in the end, even if only by a hair. Ha ha ha, these old guys are funny. Boom. Meng Feitian's flame had yet to die out as an explosion rattled their heads. A drawn-out voice resounded, "Sir, I'm done." Chapter 877, Doubt. Chapter 877, Doubt. Proofreader, Papatonks. What? Bailey Jingwei jerked and turned to the corner where Yuan Qi flames failed to even ignite. To go faster than old Meng, an imperial family alchemist, does that mean there's still a genius here? Meng Feitian shuddered at the sudden outburst and caused his attention to lapse and the pill to be in danger of being ruined right at the end. No way. You're telling me this backwater city holds another talent than Shui Dingxian? Meng Feitian frowned, wrapping up his refining and ending up being the runner-up. Then he looked nervously where the shout came from. Shui Dingxian was startled as well, but then looked lost. As far as he knew, living in this area for so long, there was no other than his clan as real grandmasters in alchemy around these parts. Where did he come from then to be faster than us brothers? In the end, seeing was believing. Since he was close to finishing as well, he wrapped it up and finished third. Bailey Jingwei, Meng Feitian and Shui Dingxian thus turned their dubious gazes to the speaker. The rest gasped in shock and stopped their refining, wanting to see what kind of outstanding, marvelous and ridiculous being could outdo these two grandmasters. Prime Minister, sir, should I go and get to the bottom of this? A guard glanced at Bailey Jingwei and asked. Bailey Jingwei shook his head. No, since he took the lead in the preliminaries, I want to see him myself. If he's a true genius, I'll personally take him back to the imperial capital. But if he's a quack looking to make it big, I'll have to show my less kind side. Bailey Jingwei took large steps over, with Meng Feitian and Shui Dingxian rushing after 3 men and 1 guard, overcome by curiosity, made their way to where Zhuo Fan was, who still held his hand closed. Who said his done? Bailey Jingwei scanned the competitors, all fingers pointed at Zhuo Fan, out of fear of being put through the ringer as well. So they rushed to put some distance between them. Shangguan Qingyang gave him a reproachful look, then worried. They all saw how quickly Zhuo Fan closed his fists moments after he dumped the ingredients into the blaze. No matter how one looked at it, it was a bust. That was why all figured him for a lunatic who had given up in despair, only to realize he's no lunatic, but a moron, a suicidal one. Well, he did close his fist just as the ingredients went in the fire, then shout out he was done, stealing the Grandmaster's thunder. This isn't your average friendly pill king convention, where you can talk trash. It won't end with just a simple expulsion. Consequences are deadly in a competition held at a Sword King's manor. Declaring you've finished when the pill is obviously ruined, are you toying with Sword King Feiyun? Your head is on the line here. Maybe there'd be some innocent bystanders who'd suffer as well from such crass transgression, so the same one who appreciated his talent and wanted to get close moments before, made the sound judgment of keeping their distance and playing dumb. Shangguan Qingyang was hopeless in standing there, unable to escape. Why is he so crazy all of a sudden? Playing around with the flying cloud manor? That's a swift trip down under. A grin split Shangguan Yulin's face, enjoying the show. Moments ago he was still mulling over how to use the manor to remove this thorn in his side. When lo and behold, the guy did it himself and he didn't have to lift a finger. It sure saves me the trouble. He was feeling a sudden and uncontrollable need to cackle. Rotten punk, your day has come, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei figured it all out from the obvious looks and turned to Zhuo Fan. Was it you? Yes, sir. Zhuo Fan smiled. Bailey Jingwei sneered as he began. Brother, I've seen many cheats trying to catch my eye at the imperial capital, obsessed with fame and willing to do anything to gain status. I'm more than happy to cater for real talents, of course, but if there's one thing I hate, it's to have some clown think he can pull the wool over my eyes. Bailey Jingwei squinted. If you're some special talent, you could have approached me in trying to offer your services. But this is a pill competition, where results are judged on one's grasp of alchemy, not baiting me like this to showcase your value. Humph, in fact, even if you might be a fairly decent talent, I'll still only judge your action as a means to toy with me and will have to enforce the rules of the competition upon you. Have I made myself clear? Crystal. Zhuo Fan nodded. Bailey Jingwei raised an eyebrow. This was rare, seeing one held his own under his rebuke. Bailey Jingwei had a whole new respect for him regardless. If Zhuo Fan put on a show, the result would be the same. No mercy. Bailey Jingwei patted Zhuo Fan's hand and warned, "This is your last chance." "Are you really done?" "Of course." Zhuo Fan replied while he was nonplussed. The crowd was sweating bullets. "Dude, learn when to quit." The other guy even took the time to explain the process while also giving you a way out. "Plead guilty and you might walk." "Why so adamant? Who here doesn't know just how done you are?" The crowd lamented inwardly. Bailey Jingwei looked from the audience to him with a smile. "I like your mentality the best, able to keep cool in my presence. But toying is still toying and would all be revealed in the end. Since you're so done with your pill, show it to me. I will be kind enough to give you one last chance. Walk away with your fist closed and I'll ignore it, but this offer is gone the minute you pry open those fingers." Clutching his clothes, Shangguan Qingyang glared hard at the calm Zhuo Fan. "Ha ha ha, thank you sir for your kindness, but I'm not playing anything here." Zhuo Fan shook his head, his eyes shining as he opened his fist. "Also, it's not my mentality that's great, but my clear conscience." Sir's question must have come after noticing the bystander's reaction. However, by definition, a bystander is a mere spectator and their reaction isn't always to be trusted. Tilde. A ripple spread from Zhuo Fan's hand, followed by a colorful aura and thick fragrance of medicine. The crowd felt their mind sharpen, their bodies livelier, making these alchemists immediately label the result as a top 7th grade pill. Whoosh. The pill had taken a life of its own as it hovered for a moment before shooting away. Meng Feitian made a sign and the pill froze before bringing it to his hand. Feeling the warmth it gave off and the specific scent of a freshly baked pill, Meng Feitian rushed before Bailey Jingwei and gasped, "Young master, it's a newly refined top 7th grade pill. No mistake about it. You mean to tell me the kid's random clench ended up making a 7th grade pill?" But none was more shocked than the watching alchemists around Zhuo Fan. They saw with their own eyes how Zhuo Fan had done it, and that was precisely why reality gave them such a blow they couldn't get over. That actually works. Shangguan Qingyang was looking overwhelmed, filled with disbelief. Is alchemy that easy? Throw in some ingredients into the fire, then just grab it and it's done? What about those other clan's alchemists, toiling day in day out around a cauldron to make pill after pill? Was it a high-class act? He had no idea that this was all due to Zhuo Fan's unique skill in alchemy. Universe Palm, it was this very skill that helped him trample over those obnoxiously conceited alchemists and poach the best alchemist in Tianyu as his disciple. It was a supreme skill Zhuo Fan never shared. Bailey Jingwei looked from the pill to Zhuo Fan with an awkward gaze. He doubted Zhuo Fan at first because the circumstances made it so, the people around Zhuo Fan looked at him so. But the results were now in, and no matter how outrageous and unbelievable it was, he was a true alchemical master, faster than the ex-top 2 grandmasters in his capacity as Prime Minister. Bailey Jingwei was, nonetheless, also capable of respect and appreciation for his fellow man. He walked before him and bowed in apology. "I ask that Sir can overlook my rude remarks from before. Sir doesn't need to do that." Zhuo Fan grinned casually. Shangguan Yulin looked bleak, gnashing his teeth and seething on the inside. What the hell did the punk do? Those ingredients are supposed to be ashes. How is it a pill instead? Lucky bastard. Shangguan Yulin squinted and raged. Chapter 878, The Noose Titans. Chapter 878, The Noose Titans. Proofreader, Papatonks. Tracing the precious and still warm pill in his hand, Bailey Jingwei praised, "Sir is a true grandmaster on the path of alchemy to have achieved such outstanding speed in refining." "Sir's too kind." Zhuo Fan was humble. Bailey Jingwei bowed deeply. It is a glory deserving of Sir's talent. May I know Sir's name, where you come from and where you stay? I am Gu Yifan from Western Lands that has taken temporary refuge at the Gu residence. Oh, a newcomer to the central area, ha ha ha. Welcome. Bailey Jingwei bowed again. The Sword Star Empire of the central area always appreciated talent. I believe Sir Gu will have a great chance to make something of yourself here. Thank you for the kind words. No, this is a fact. My Sword Star Empire will never neglect any talent. Bailey Jingwei bowed again and gestured. Sir Gu has not only come out first in preliminaries but also passed the 2 Grandmasters. The honor is yours. Please follow me. Bailey Jingwei led the way, with the guards flanking the sides and carving a path. Now that was respect right there. Zhuo Fan nodded inside, more alert than ever. He sure knows how to cater to the people's feelings. Decisive when needed and respectful when required. There's nothing fake about him. Truly a man of character. Saying he was resourceful and shrewd was an understatement. It was more appropriate to call him a genius mastermind. There's no way some steward of a Sword King's manor acts like this. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and followed. Shangguan Qingyang next to him woke up moments later and followed with a face flushed with pride. All that remained were just a few hundred envious alchemists watching the 2 go in front and be given such glory like honored guests of the royal family, but no one's envy could ever match Shangguan Yulin's. For God's sake. Here I was eager to see his head roll only to make a sudden recovery and take first place. He got to keep his head and get all the honor and glory. This is just absurd. I'm the main here, me. While you're just the backup. How are you better? Shangguan Yulin was filled with discontent, especially seeing Shangguan Qingyang looking so happy near Zhuo Fan. What was the week of hell even for? I can't even beat a meager 7th grade radiant stage weakling alchemist. He didn't like it at all and was not about to take it lying down. The rancer burned in his stare, his curses unspoken. Gu, enjoy it while you can. The bigger you are the harder you fall. A radiant stage alchemist like you, 7th grade is the limit. Your shortcomings will be made painfully obvious in the 2nd round, where your fall from grace will be met with harsh rebuttal. The hope of Shangguan clan getting into the manor still rests with me, and me alone. This isn't grievance, but confidence in my alchemy. Just you wait. Patting his bruised ego, Shangguan Yulin looked ashen as the flame in his hand finished the pill. The side alchemists found his expression baffling. Friend, buddy, what's up? If refining gets you pissed, how are you an alchemist? See that? That's Bailey Jingwei, knowing when to be resolute and conforming. The guy he just threatened is now being led like a guest of honor, the switch in treatment coming at the drop of the hat. In a dark corner, Shangguan Feiyun and Danqing Shen overlooked the competition. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes shone. I admit that I fall short in bearing when compared to this kid. He's definitely Prime Minister for a reason, humph. Danqing Shen chugged another mouth of wine and chuckled. Ha ha ha, that's the whole point of being made Prime Minister. You think just about everyone is a skilled martial artist like us? What's wrong with being one? Isn't Sword Star Empire's ancestor, Invincible Sword, one as well? Without one such as him holding the nation, Sword Star Empire could never intimidate the other lands. I wouldn't have run off to the central area to become one of the 9 Sword Kings either. In the end, conquest is done with force, while pacification through guile. Sword Star Empire's power does come from the invincible sword. But there are some things we know too well. Danqing Shen's eyes flashed, staring at the smiling Bailey Jingwei. Sword Star Empire's power is half due to that man's efforts. Without Bailey Jingwei, Invincible Sword might be able to take the 4 lands all the same, but it would be a difficult undertaking. Now though, the day looks awfully close. Shangguan Feiyun squinted and nodded. Central area has become stronger, and with the might of the 9 Sword Kings, the 4 lands have no chance. Bailey Jingwei's plan for years will soon come to pass. Hey, what's that guy doing here? Danqing Shen startled Shangguan Feiyun with his cry. He muttered confused, now even Western lands is. Shangguan Feiyun asked, old man, who are you talking about? No one. Got the wrong person. Danqing Shen blinked a couple of times then shook his head with a chuckle. Though his grip on the wine jug was harder, His sharp eyes hid the unknown intent behind them. Reaching the very front, before the two grandmasters, Bailey Jingwei bowed to Zhuo Fan. Sir Ji is the best alchemist. Please stay here and allow me to witness Sir's remarkable skills. Sir's too kind. Zhuo Fan spoke. Bailey Jingwei nodded and went on stage to resume his watch over the other candidates. Just that compared to the rest of the crowd, the top three were way too fast. Glancing at Zhuo Fan, Meng Feitian and his junior brother looked skeptical. It was hard for them to swallow the fact Zhuo Fan, at his age and cultivation, could refine faster than them. It was a kind of talent that was too outrageous to accept. Kid, whose mantle do you carry? Oh, it's my clan's inheritance. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's bright reply came to Meng Feitian's cold and questioning tone. Meng Feitian knew his meaning and mocked. Fine, keep it to yourself. We don't care anyway. But let me tell you, we have strict demands on alchemy. Making anything but the best 7th grade pill will be an insult to ourselves and a disgrace to our master. While speed is of the essence, we have made perfect pills. So don't go getting a big head for being faster than us with just a top pill. Old Foggis wasted so much time making some perfect pills. Shangguan Qingyang was quick to answer first with an annoyed glare. Zhuo Fan rushed to stop her. Seniors, please forgive my ignorance. It just happened for me to be a bit faster this time. Don't mind it. If we did, we'd be the ones shaming ourselves for lowering to a kid's level. Meng Feitian didn't care, but some things he had to admit, regardless of it being a top quality. You sure are young and promising to make it with such a cultivation and at that speed. The actions speak of your skills. One day you may even surpass us. Work hard, kid. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands. Thank you so much for your praise, senior. Ending it there, the two grandmasters ignored him, but as they shared a glance, they gave a sigh filled with mixed feelings. The new replaces the old. They felt threatened by the promising youth. It's the first time I see old Meng looking so lost. Bailey Jingwei watched their interaction with a smile. This proves Sir Ji is indeed a talent to get their approval. His cultivation may be lacking but more than deserving of being groomed. The Pill King convention finally shows results, getting me another talent, ha ha ha. The guard bowed from the side. Congratulations, sir, the Empire has gained another helper. Tone down the flattery. Bailey Jingwei waved him off. The other's refining is about to end. Get those bums without a flame out of here. Shangguan clan is the best in Eastern lands for a reason. There's no way they'll send a spy in with some lousy flame. Humph. Yes, Prime Minister is wise. The guard nodded and got to work. Chapter 879, Servant. Chapter 879, Servant. Proofreader, Papatonks. Hey, I didn't even start yet. What's the meaning of this? What can you refine when you can't even start your fire? Get lost. This isn't fair. How can we compete like this? It's not our fault the others have better flames. You can't do this to us. You're discriminating against us because of our average flames. Complaints, grumbles, and dissatisfaction echoed as the guards drove away the alchemists that had yet to start. It was not the guards' job to care about their problems. They had a task and proceeded to throw them out the front door. No amount of complaining worked, but if they resorted to force, the guards would cower them with their auras and bloodthirst. The outcome was obvious to any just by sensing it. Death. So they shuddered and fell silent, leaving after feeling abandoned. Peace was once again restored outside the manor. Bailey Jingwei was on stage, giving them a cold gaze. His respect had been used up on Zhuo Fan and he had no more left to give to mere bugs. This was Bailey Jingwei, the Prime Minister of the Swordstar Empire. Always pragmatic, he was willing to bear any shame in pursuit of talents, even at the expense of his own pride as a Prime Minister. But when facing these extras that didn't make the cut, he found them an eyesore, offering no compassion or care. This was how any true official should be, calm and of good judge of character. Another group is eliminated. Zhuo Fan knew this guy was tightening the noose around them. It won't be long before he gets his rat. Zhuo Fan glanced by chance at Shangguan Yulin. Seeing his nose so high up after making a pill and the sheer disdain for the alchemists who had yet to start, going as far as enjoying to see them being kicked out, Zhuo Fan's face twitched and shook his head. What a fool, he's totally oblivious of the net closing in. Bailey Jingwei looked at the remaining candidates, around 500, while another 200 had been removed. He smiled. People, do you find my methods crude? A brilliant man such as Sir has done perfectly. The candidates cupped their hands and shouted. Fan shook his head. These guys were the winners in this case. Since you kicked out their competition, they're more than accommodating. His only asking to make this competition his presiding over sound fair. I'm here holding a Pill King convention, not a job offer. Those that didn't make it failed to meet the standard. The Empire did not toy with them. Or the Empire's prestige would take a hit. Bailey Jingwei nodded, finding it a bit lacking as he kept making excuses. All alchemists should strive their best in a competition. Joining such an event, especially an Empire-held one, they should realize the minimal requirements, especially when it came to one's flame. They should have been aware of the tight competition. Since they haven't yet come to join such an event, it proves you're not invested in it. Getting eliminated is only natural. Sir is right, they got what they deserved. One man bowed with a sneer on the spot. The rest followed, hailing the Prime Minister, like they were congratulating a politician for winning an election. Zhuo Fan, Meng Feitian, and Xue Dingxian were silent. They weren't against their ruling but not about to debase themselves. This was an alchemist's self-respect. All alchemists went from weak to strong, each having gone through using Yuan Qi flame at some point in their career. As for the special flame they had now, that was earned through harsh toils, it didn't fall on their laps. Only an alchemist knew another's plight. Towards those poor alchemists, trying to get a better flame was very hard, sometimes even deadly, but the flame did not mean one's skill sucked. By admitting this fact, it was the same as saying these remaining candidates sucked the same at one point in their alchemist career. This made some conscious alchemists aware of their value and not join the rear kissing. As for the rest of those toadies, screaming their lungs out, they were a disgrace as alchemists, pursuing this path for pocket change and ephemeral glory. Bailey Jingwei saw Zhuo Fan and some abstained from being swallowed by the trend and approved of it while looking at the toadies. He only had disdain. They're nothing but expendable pawns. Bailey Jingwei smirked. Let the true preliminaries begin. Ah! The cheering died on the spot. Sir, what was that? Haven't we been through preliminaries already? Of course not. You think the Pill King convention is that easy? Bailey Jingwei spoke. That was only meant to eliminate random elements slipping in. The true selection has only just begun. Bring their pills. Bailey Jingwei called his guards, sending them a couple of extra words before they entered the crowd to inspect their results. The 500 alchemists were sporting countless emotions: pride, anxiety, worry, fear. In an hour, the pills were brought back in 2 piles. The deciding factor of this split had nothing to do with the process involved or the quality. These piles had quality ranging from low to top as well. Bailey Jingwei scanned the 2 and pointed at one. Cast them out. Yes, sir. Bowing, the guards walked in a line towards the designated targets. Hoisting them by the collar, they were easily carried off, though that didn't make it any easier to accept it. Wait. I made a top pill. Why are you throwing me out? There would always be one who whined, and this time was no exception. Someone then pointed at someone snickering. I refined faster than him and with good quality. Why is Sir eliminating me as well? The guy jerked and shivered in fear, looking tensely at Bailey Jingwei. He knew very well he was worse than some who were eliminated. But was Sir so nice enough to leave him out? He was by himself with joy of having been skipped, but someone telling on him filled him with hatred and worry, cursing the culprit to the heavens. Screw you. I got luck on my side, alright? What the hell are you dragging me down for? Bailey Jingwei ignored the complaint with a sneer, because his pill's aura is thicker. How can you call it a spirit pill if it has no spiritual energy? Choking, the guy shuddered, but he still wasn't convinced. What do you know about alchemy? He used an 8th grade ingredient to make it so thick. But its quality is worse than mine. I used 7th grade ingredients and made it better. This shows my skill is better than his. The others bobbed their heads in total agreement. When did I say it's about skill here? Bailey Jingwei raised an eyebrow. Once you enter the imperial capital, you're to serve the imperial family. The first requirement isn't skill but determination to give your all. I didn't judge you on speed when you made the 7th grade pill, but being able to always refine to the best of your ability and speed. Then I found that some of you only cared about showing off your skills while forgetting about my requirement. It's obvious you can make a pill faster with 8th grade ingredients, but you chose 7th grade. It's obvious you can make a top 7th grade pill with 8th grade ingredient. Please, your lord is the imperial family and doesn't need you to stint on ingredients and don't need to dazzle them with your skills. As long as you do your very best and are fast, nothing else matters. I'm throwing them out because they were holding back. Any other problem? Shuddering, the people fell silent. Bailey Jingwei didn't have a true requirement of an alchemist, but a bureaucratic one: to be a good servant. My character, livelihood and my prideful skills aren't important here. I must first be a good and devoted servant to the Lord first. Wasn't this the whole point behind entering the imperial capital? Haha. Chapter 880, Re-evaluation. Chapter 880, Re-evaluation. Proofreader, Papatonks. The man shook his head, struggling out of the guard's grip as he sighed. I see. Thank you, sir, for the advice. I have failed to understand sir's wish. All my life I've been in competition with my skills, only to finally find one where they aren't as needed. Haha, but it's fine. I'm eliminated now, but I'm happy about it. Goodbye, everyone, and good luck. He gave a bow and walked out with a smile, on his own 2 feet and not thrown out. An alchemist had his dignity, seeing his back straight even as he failed, and that smile, it was deeply ingrained in the others' minds. Having mixed feelings, sir, I forfeit. Someone stood up, bowing towards Bailey Jingwei. I'm not fit to join the imperial capital. It's best for me to be a free alchemist. Bailey Jingwei nodded. It all depends on yourself and your wishes if you want to serve the empire. I won't impose on you. Thank you, sir. The man walked out. More and more people chose to walk away. While greed was widespread among them, they were still men of character that would choose to step down rather than betray their dignity and values before the second round even started. People were leaving en masse, leaving but 100. Shangguan Feiyun watched from a corner. Wasn't Bailey Jingwei the most admired official? It looks like his remarks today have repulsed many talents. He's not his usual wise self. Ha ha ha, brother Feiyun, aren't you confused? You think this is really a Pill King convention? Dan Shen squinted. Bailey Jingwei is searching for the Shangguan clan. Since those tough men left, it makes it easier to inspect the few remaining. In other words, anyone can leave, anyone but the Shangguan clan. Bailey Jingwei had figured this out, and that's why he's inciting them. Shangguan Feiyun eyed Dan Shen. You mean Shangguan clansmen are among them? Isn't it possible that the pile he cast out includes some as well? No. Bailey Jingwei's actions are precise. We both know that. Dan Shen took a deep breath. We might not know why he threw them out, but one thing's certain. The net is closing in, with Shangguan clan at its center. Shangguan Feiyun nodded. Bailey Jingwei, sagely statesman, has amazing control. Cousin, I've never seen a pill competition like this before. Pulling on Zhuofan's sleeve, Shangguan Qingyang looked hateful. Since she couldn't lash out, she had to share it with him. Since the great young Missy of Shangguan clan couldn't see Bailey Jingwei's machination, nothing could be said about the rest of the alchemists. Of the 3 Shangguan clan spies, everyone else that stayed was without a doubt a cowardly and dishonorable alchemist, all going according to the guy's plan. Looking at the smug Shangguan Yulin, as if patting himself on the back for being selected to stay, Zhuofan shook his head. Is he really that blind to the tightening noose? He was among the rare ones who saw through Bailey Jingwei's reasoning. Shangguan clan wasn't good at alchemy, and Shangguan Feiyun knew this, having only been 10 short days from the announcement and the holding of the Pill King convention. Getting a presentable alchemist ready in such a time was an illusion. Though more than enough for a pretender, this made the previous round focused on speed to be in fact a test of the mind alchemists trained for years and years, starting from scratch and mastering every kind of skill and recipe before advancing a grade. This solidified their base. This meant that a 6th grade alchemist could make any pill to that grade as long as he had the recipe, while a pretender, having gone through alchemy cram school, would never be able to make more than some average pill. In other words, he lacked the basics. His cultivation supported him to make 8th grade, but top 7th grade would be impossible still. Such was the case of Shangguan Yulin. Bailey Jingwei must have figured it out, asking for such vague requirements and hinting at speed. It was to force those sham alchemists to quickly refine the pill he wanted, quality aside. In this frantic race, when skills were lacking, cultivation made up for it along with high-grade ingredients. while a true alchemist had dignity and would not use anything better than a 7th grade ingredient for the same grade pill. This showed he was a 7th grade alchemist, as real as it got. Bailey Jingwei had them eliminated still, proving that no spy was among them. He was more interested in the shady alchemists. This was Bailey Jingwei's net. Though odds were only Zhuo Fan saw through it. All the others saw was a strange pill king convention, as if tailored to the whims of their masters in the imperial capital, unaware that it was nothing but a trap to ferret out Shangguan clan spies. Zhuo Fan was now pondering on a counter. Shangguan Yulin, the only pawn I can use. Should I throw him to the wolves? If he did toss him out, he'd come into the open as well. The question is, what kind of man is this guy? Looking for an instant result or a patient fisherman? Just how far will he go? Zhuo Fan knew the host was shrewd from all that had been going according to his plan, and not Shangguan Feiyun's. Zhuo Fan had come to Flying Cloud City only 2 months ago. From Shangguan Feiyun's meticulous and forced search, it showed he was not a shrewd mind. Only 2 weeks ago was the competition announced, turning into a web. Unlike the previous method, this was a more subtle and ingenious trap. It was obvious that this guy only arrived in Flying Cloud City around that time. He had to be from the imperial capital and of equal power as Sword King Feiyun to take the main role in ordering the manor guards to his wishes. Zhuo Fan squinted as he was figuring Bailey Jingwei out. He was courteous, steady, decisive, and a man of action. His mind had to be broad and not after crumbs. He may not touch me even when I'm in front of him, or it would drive away the real target, the Shangguan clan. I'll be safe until the two fight it out. This way I'll use it to my advantage, from the shadows and in the open, to gain victory. Finding the two's clash inevitable, Zhuo Fan sighed and showed a crooked smile. Ha ha ha, Shangguan Yulin, be good and stick out your head. You're in high demand, to be used by Shangguan Feiyun and Shangguan Feixiong. Everyone wants you, hey. Shangguan Yulin felt a chilling breeze that sent a cold shiver down his spine. Who the hell is targeting me? Bailey Jingwei then spoke out. Congratulations, everyone, you've advanced to the 2nd round. The topic will be, ha ha ha, I've yet to come up with one. Just refine. Ooh. The people looked at each other lost. This is too damn random. Just refine? What's the requirement then? What if you only accept 8th grade and cast out the 9th grade we make? How are we supposed to accept that? It's you who has the final say anyway. This competition is too weird. The candidates were stumped when one spoke up. Sir, please enlighten us about the entire process so as to avoid any mistakes. Ha ha ha, there isn't one. Just do your best. Bailey Jingwei smiled, but his vague grin puzzled them even more. Zhuo Fan's Yuan Qi flamesword just then, speaking casually, didn't Sir tell you already? Do your best. Doesn't that mean you have to show what you're capable of? Zhuo Fan threw ingredients into his fire and the others rushed to start as well, unaware this was Bailey Jingwei's 2nd attempt at ferreting Shangguan clan spies. Chapter 881, Dazzling. Chapter 881, Dazzling. Proofreader, Papatonks. What do you mean do your best? Flames burned hotter in many eyes and in even more hands, revealing a very grave face. Zhuo Fan had solved their problem, but the meaning was very much eluding. Still taking the words at face value, it meant just what Zhuo Fan said, to show just what they were made of by refining their very peak, but this is the 2nd round. What would await them in the finals? If they went all out now, what would be tested then? Having gone through a weird requirement already, they reckoned going ahead with a few hidden cards was best. Of course, that didn't mean making a weaker pill than before, or it wouldn't be their best. The candidates nodded and went in with some restraints, though making sure to do better than before. Besides, only great alchemists like them would know the truth, while outsiders were none the wiser to the deception. Bailey Jingwei eyed them with a smile. You'd best not play smart with me. While there are 3 rounds, but to select a true alchemist, there's no need for all of them. What do you mean, sir? The candidates jerked, having been found out. Bailey Jingwei had a wicked smirk. Sword King Feiyun is a busy man and doesn't have the time to waste on your drawn-out refining. Maybe in the last round he'll find you an eyesore. So the 2nd round is your time to show your best. Miss it and it'll be too late for regrets. An imperial capital alchemist is judged by aesthetics. The candidates were shocked then their skills would not be worth a lick in the last round. only judged by their fine traces or appalling visage. Bailey Jingwei shook his head. That isn't to say it will happen, but what if when you meet with the Sword King he'll judge your speech? Ha ha ha, who can say? With dark looks on their faces, the candidates sighed, feeling weirded out by these peculiarities in a competition. You're here looking for alchemists, not a pretty boy. What does skin have to do with any of this? Shangguan Feiyun was pissed, his face twitching. Blast it. Is he making a mockery out of me? What of my name? Shangguan Feiyun cursed. The rotten punk is using my manner to say what he likes. When word gets out they'll say I'm a queer with some depraved kink. How am I supposed to look people in the eye? Dan Shen chuckled. Brother Feiyun, isn't Bailey Jingwei after Shangguan clan spies? With so many people, while the most will be swayed in not going through with this, only the spy will go all out. How is this supposed to single them out? How to judge? Shangguan Feiyun glared at the smiling guy. Dan Shen paused, then shook his head. I don't know, but he must have a plan. We're best off watching with calmness. Fine, I'll wait. If in the end I don't see a single spy, he'll have to answer to me. Huffing, Shangguan Feiyun spat. Dan Shen chuckled, looking at Zhuo Fan in front with a hard gaze. Boy, why are you here? Are you in on this as well? Who tilde? While most candidates were in a quandary, the top three were refining. Like always, they didn't give a damn about Bailey Jingwei's ridiculous speech. All they had to do was do their best to showcase their skills and ignore everything. They had that much confidence in their skills that none could match. If there was one restriction across the whole wide world, that would be strength. No matter where you were, all was based on strength. Kid, a Yuan Qi flame still? Yeah. You sure are something to bring a Yuan Qi flame to such height. Meng Feitian and his junior brother were amazed with Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan shrugged. It's only good control. TCH, can control ignore the other flames' interference? We've been alchemists for too long to fall for you cheap tricks. The old men weren't duped like those amateurs. But they didn't push Zhuo Fan for his secret either. They knew alchemy had a rule, not to ask. Kid, we're both peak 9th grade alchemists with a rare 10th grade, sometimes refined. This time, I'm ready to challenge a 10th pill. What about you? You're not that weak, so what are you going to make? 8th or 9th grade? With your cultivation and speed, you can't be just an average 7th grade alchemist, but a rare 8th grade radiant stage alchemist. He, truly outstanding. Kid, such a talent is amazing. Zhuo Fan eyed them in silence. The guy on stage clearly cherishes talent. Shangguan Yulin will be exposed soon. To make sure he'll go easy on me, I'll need to dazzle him. No choice but to show my hand. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone and smiled. Seniors, I plan on making an 11th grade. The two staggered at the sudden response, then gave him a mean look. Kid, we know you've got talent and even thought about guiding you. Yet you mock us. Meng Feitian glared. Xue Dingxian cursed. We're really giving our all to challenge the 10th grade and you're saying you'll go for 11th? If that ain't mockery, I don't know what is. Humph, rotten punk, we respect your talent and you grow cocky with your seniors. Even with such a talent, your petty mind will hold you back. Seniors, you got it all wrong. That's not it at all. Zip it. You're telling me you're going to make an 11th grade pill? Smiling, Meng Feitian was fuming. 8th grade is the limit for a radiant stage talent like you. 9th grade is impossible. If you were at our stage, maybe you might have a modicum chance of making an 11th grade. But certainly not now. Yes, impossible. You're clearly mocking us. Xue Dingxian stood with Meng Feitian. Zhuo Fan shrugged, flinging spirit stones around to set up a bizarre array. The elders were taken aback. What are you up to now? This is alchemy, not arrays. Bailey Jingwei noticed the ruckus in front and looked curious. Family skill, pill array. With a mysterious smile, Zhuo Fan went through the gestures. I'm making an 11th grade pill without an array. It's a pain, ha ha ha. Roar. Finishing one gesture, he pointed down and a draconic roar echoed out. Zhuo Fan made another sign and the Yuan Qi flame blended with the array. What followed were constant roars as 9 fire dragons took to the skies. The still stumped amateurs were looking shocked, lost for words. What is that? Isn't it supposed to be alchemy? Bailey Jingwei was intrigued, eyes shining. Zhuo Fan looked coldly at the crowd and Bailey Jingwei as he made another sign. It was time to reveal his worth. and to do that, a dazzling skill was required to knock them all off their feet, so much so the host will feel pain just thinking of killing a genius like me. Zhuo Fan shouted, 9 dragons unite, pill amplification, roar tilde. The 9 fire dragons clashed like how he did back in Tianyu. The medicine inside them combined with every clash. Chapter 882, Assured Entry. Chapter 882, Assured Entry. Proofreader, Papatonks. Bang tilde. The fire dragons slammed into each other, making the boiling medicine flowing through them fly out and combine in mere moments. Zhuo Fan had done the impossible, refined the ingredients, combined them and formed the pill. As the last fire dragon slammed, its fire slowly faded to reveal a round scarlet pool. Zhuo Fan was finished tilde. The pill sent ripples around, burning as hot and bright as the sun itself. The audience basked in its aura with every release, filling their veins with power. This is an 11th grade pill? Meng Feitian and Xue Dingxian, the 2 grandmasters, were dumbstruck. All they could do was stand there like some fools, forking their jaws as their attention was robbed from the flames in their hands, their own refining ruined. The spectacle had blown their minds. The rest didn't fare any better, looking dazed and bug-eyed. You're telling me that grand display was alchemy? You can do that. Why haven't we heard it before? Shangguan Qingyang, next to Zhuo Fan, was just as overwhelmed. She didn't know, nor see, an alchemist being so flashy in his refining. Only Zhuo Fan could make something as insipid as alchemy into a show. Sure enough, her eyes looked at him with a hazy gaze. He was an alchemist, she knew that from before, but not to this amazing extent. Like all pills were in the palms of his hands, waiting to just open them to show to the world. Zhuo Fan made a sign and the small sun fell in his palm as he declared, top 11th grade pill, complete. Pa. Bailey Jingwei jerked so hard on the stage from his weak knees that he almost fell down. He ignored demeanor as he made a mad dash for Zhuo Fan and gently received the pill, scanning every side of this genuine 11th grade pill. Sir Gu. Bailey Jingwei's lips quivered, overwhelmed by the act and the result. He was seeing Zhuo Fan like a second father, his hands shaky. The guards were stunned. Being Bailey Jingwei's personal guards for many years, not once had they witnessed the wise prime minister lose his cool. Only before such an incredible alchemist did this man show such an absurd reaction. Bailey Jingwei grabbed Zhuo Fan's hands, after reining in some of the excitement, and declared, Sir Gu, you're a miracle. Now that you're an 11th grade alchemist, reaching the peak of 12th grade is only a matter of time. It's Western Land's loss for driving you away. But now that you're in the central area, it's truly great. Bailey Jingwei sounded a little crazed, his eyes teary. Zhuo Fan's eyes shook as well, for a different reason. This kid doesn't cherish talents, he loves them. If it was anything to go by, his poor life was safe when Shangguan clan's plan went bust. All that left was to incite the 2 camps into a war so he could cast his line. Zhuo Fan grinned, certain that the fight would end up with him showing himself and coming out on top. Sir Gu, please come on up. You are the undisputed king of this competition. With a flourish, Bailey Jingwei bowed and invited him up. Above all in this competition. Zhuo Fan waved his hands. Sir, please, this is only the 2nd round. It'll be up to the Sword King's decision in the final round. With Sir's glorious talent, Sword King Feiyun will definitely appreciate you. Bailey Jingwei was elated, smiling from ear to ear. Even throughout the central area, there are but a few 11th grade alchemists, even fewer of Sir's age. You're exactly the talent Sword Star Empire needs. In less than a century, Sir will become the best alchemist in the world. Your worth can't be measured. Zhuo Fan grinned inside. I got him so good, he starts praising me. He couldn't help feeling pride inside. Since the guy was so nice and imposing, he found it hard to even try to refuse. So he walked with Bailey Jingwei on stage, under the revered gazes of the audience. Shangguan Qingyang was flushed from the glory. Shangguan Yulin, though, was another story. Watching the situation taking the opposite turn he wished for, he was gnashing his teeth and howling inside. He was the main here. But then that sub turned out to slip into the enemy camp first. If he hesitated now, then he might be eliminated. He could already see the scorn and piercing looks as he dragged his feet back to the clan. How would everyone else see him then? The fake nephew ended up being better than the real thing. How would his uncle take it? No. I have to do it better than him. There's only one way to kick him off his high horse and into his grave, to let the manna kill him for me. But before that, he had to get in himself. Shangguan Yulin ignored everything as he focused his all on the burning flame in hand. He threw 10th grade ingredients one after the other, swearing to make his best pill, yet the candidates around stared stunned. I say, what's got into you, brothers? Why is every refining you guys do akin to a duel? What's your beef with this pill anyway? The men didn't care much anyway. With Zhuo Fan having given them a goal to reach, and seeing Bailey Jingwei's reaction, they knew the second round was based on pill grade. They started their own process then, throwing in the best ingredients they had in hope of passing. The two grandmasters were dumbstruck for a long time now, then their eyes looked complicated. Wait, Grandmaster Gu. The mere making of an 11th grade pill had upended their view of Zhuo Fan. Also obvious how he was better than them. Zhuo Fan smiled at the two. What is it, seniors, do you have any more advice? We'd never be so presumptuous as to be Grandmaster Gu's seniors. The two were frantic and ashamed. Grandmaster Gu, has Sir made the 11th grade pill with your own 11th grade ingredients? Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, but shook his head. Why would I? With the manna giving us ingredients, why should I pay out of my pocket? But the highest grade the manna offered was 10th. What of it? Zhuo Fan chuckled, putting on the airs of an ascendant. All herbs have spirits. In a right match, their grade will rise, while in a poor one, it will fall. My pill array drew on the world's energy to integrate the spiritual nature of the ingredients. So why can't it make an 11th grade pill with 10th grade ingredients? Why can't it? The two were too lost for words. Isn't that convenient to you? Why can't it? To you it's easy, but others didn't even think of it. In fact, this is unheard of. Sir Gu's talent is not just that of an alchemist, but of a grandmaster among grandmasters. To make it sound so easy, he's truly the pinnacle of his generation. The two bowed heavily and walked. Bailey Jingwei asked, Grandmasters, where are you going? We don't deserve that title. The two sighed. We now realize that there's always someone better out there. We lack training. We'll be entering seclusion and study upon alchemy. Fame and glory is not for us. We hope the next time we come out, we'll be able to catch up a bit to Grandmaster Gu. The two laughed and sighed. Old man, should we still compete? What competition? Since we're both lacking, are we to see who sucks the most? True, competing now sounds like a joke, ha ha ha. Watching their backs, Bailey Jingwei took a deep breath. Was it something I said? Is that why the two grandmasters are leaving? Faking innocence, Zhuo Fan turned to Bailey Jingwei. Bailey Jingwei smiled and bowed. Sir's amazing talent has opened their eyes. I've never seen old Meng look so carefree. Sir's talent has turned the two grandmasters into believers, into making them cast away fame and wealth, returning to their pure fascination with alchemy. I'm sure that decades later the two grandmasters will be even more amazing. Chapter 883, Closing the Net. Chapter 883, Closing the Net. Proofreader, Papatonks. To think the fake Pill King convention ended up helping Bailey Jingwei draw in another talent. From afar, Shangguan Feiyun clicked his tongue. This grandmaster's skill is truly out of this world, and so young too. He has such ability with alchemy despite his poor cultivation. Even I can't help but cherish such a gem. In a couple of centuries, this man will become the best in the world. We definitely struck gold, roping him in. What do you think, old man? Dan Qingshan merely nodded, no longer concerning himself as to what drove Zhuo Fan to come here. See cousin, do you think there's someone else who'll pass? Shangguan Qingyang stood next to Zhuo Fan on stage and glanced at Shangguan Yulin to bring up the main who he planned on using for his own plans, but that was way too obvious and hinted at their connection. Zhuo Fan thus played deaf, though not out of fear of being found out, since it was all part of his plan, but out of worry that his value would drop to Bailey Jingwei. Coming out to recommend now is truly idiotic. Though Zhuo Fan was not so keen on doing it, Shangguan Qingyang was all for it. Shangguan Qingyang glared at his silence and pointed at Shangguan Yulin, faking wisdom. Cousin, don't you think that person is quite good? Nah, just plain average. Zhuo Fan didn't bother even looking. Shangguan Qingyang was annoyed, giving him the stink eye. Zhuo Fan tried playing it cool, but Bailey Jingwei's interest was spiked at her words. Bailey Jingwei looked over with sharp eyes and grinned. Ha ha ha, Grandmaster Gu must have such high standards. That man's refining is good, quite good. Bailey Jingwei sounded off, but the sounds of alarm didn't sound in Shangguan Qingyang then, still thinking he took the bait, and went on, "See, Sir saw right. His alchemy must be great. Ha ha ha, Mrs. Too kind. It's not that I have good eyesight, it's Grandmaster Gu's high standards. To the two of us, he may be great, but Grandmaster Gu has a different worldview. Can he pass?" Unable to contain her need to know the result, Shangguan Qingyang asked. Bailey Jingwei squinted, then beamed, "Does Miss know him?" No. How could I know him? Ha ha, ha. Ha ha ha, it's fine either way. Since Miss finds him great, I'll keep my eye on him." "Really?" Shangguan Qingyang was giddy. Bailey Jingwei nodded with a most vague smile. "Sure, Miss is Grandmaster Gu's cousin and must have good eyes. I'll keep Miss Thought in mind." "Thank you." Shangguan Qingyang had a bright smile, then raised a taunting and smug eyebrow at Zhuo Fan. "See that, I got cousin in as well. Humph, you just don't know how to use your new status now that the host thinks so highly of you." Zhuo Fan shook his head, sighing inside, "Dumb girl, he has a sharp mind filled with suspicions. Since you're so open in your recommendation, of course he's going to eye him. Only not for the same reasons. He's looking at him like a spy, and you just served your cousin on a silver platter. Not like it changes anything. It's all part of the plan. At least I didn't do it and drop my value. If I did it, once Shangguan Yulin is found out, the host will think my mind is lacking and will see me with different eyes than now. Thanks for taking the blame for me, girl, ha ha ha." Snickering inside, Zhuo Fan avoided Shangguan Qingyang's gaze on purpose. "Why are you looking away? You don't find my act helpful." 3 hours slowly passed like grains of sand in an hourglass. Bailey Jingwei saw most had finished their pills and called for the guards to take them, especially Shangguan Yulin's. He had no clue what was between Zhuo Fan and Shangguan Qingyang, but just like Zhuo Fan reckoned, Shangguan Qingyang leaked her intentions. This had him pay attention to this recommendation. Also, he didn't miss anything. The guards placed the pills in 2 piles. One had low and average qualities, while ranging from 7th to 9th grade. The other had top pills. And from the luster and form, it was easy to tell they were seasoned alchemists. Bailey Jingwei had not one drop of interest in them. Waving it away, the guards caught his drift, going into the crowd and grabbing the candidates to kick them out. "Hey, what gives? I made a top 8th grade pill. Why are you throwing me out? Yeah, why is my top 9th grade pill a fail too? What the hell? Why is a 7th grade a pass but my great 8th grade is not enough?" The people were rowdy and annoyed at the judgment. Bailey Jingwei didn't feel like making excuses at this moment, having them taken away before saying, "I said to give your best, so congratulations. You did it," while they did not. Roar. They cheered, having won the round. Shangguan Yulin was also clenching his fists, patting himself on the back for a refining well done. Shangguan Qingyang couldn't help but give Zhuo Fan a look of triumph. This way both spies are in. Only Zhuo Fan knew the ins and out, his mouth forming a thin smile. After the second round, 50 men were taken away, leaving only 34. Screening these many was far easier. Watching the ecstatic winners, Bailey Jingwei sighed, finally bringing this charade to an end. Time to close the net, ha ha ha. "People, come with me. We'll be holding the final round before Sword King Feiyun." Bailey Jingwei smiled and walked behind the manor. The others rushed in excitement. A guard blocked Zhuo Fan from going as well, bowing, "Sir Gu, please wait. You don't have to join them." "Yeah, Sir Gu. Your talent makes you the undisputed pill king. You don't have to waste time on more tests." Bailey Jingwei smiled at his puzzled look. "If Sir finds himself bored, I can ask the guard to give you a tour around the premises. I'll be with you in a moment and enjoy some drinks." Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, feigning ignorance, "But I thought of seeing Sword King Feiyun." "I can't." No, Sword King Feiyun will see you in person momentarily, rest assured. Please have a little patience, Sir Gu." Bailey Jingwei cupped his hands and led the others. All the candidates gave him looks of envy. He just got first spot in one pill, even skipping the final round. Sword King himself will be seeing him. He'll be sure to enjoy all the glory and wealth of the imperial capital, lavishing in the power the new status will bring him. It was envy in its most unadulterated form. This was all due to his strength. If they made an 11th grade pill, they'd be beside him while envy was envy. Those with hatred were far fewer, though including Shangguan Yulin, of course. In his mind, he was the main of this undercover operation, me, only to be beset by setbacks the moment he came here. He'd been ignored and thrown into obscurity while Zhuo Fan had an eye-catching performance, getting in the enemy's good graces, with all the honors. In fact, Shangguan Yulin gave Zhuo Fan a death stare, his teeth crunching. Zhuo Fan chuckled, pulling Shangguan Qingyan's soft hand as he said to a guard, "It's my first time here. May I look around?" "Of course, Sir Ji Yu. I'll show Sir around." As an honored guest of the Prime Minister, the guard knew to show respect. Shangguan Qingyang got dragged away by Zhuo Fan, but she did give Shangguan Yulin one last look and gesture, "Do your best." Face twitching, he only saw his cousin being taken by another man. His best was the last thing on his mind right now, though he only had this final round to go through before he enjoyed Zhuo Fan's treatment, in the enemy's base. He'd have plenty of chances to finish off Zhuo Fan. Then with none the wiser, Shangguan Yulin squinted and walked on with bloodthirst. Shangguan Feiyun glanced at Dan Qingshan. "Come, time to close the net. I'm curious to see if Bailey Jingwei caught anything. Ha ha ha." Chapter 884, Perfect. Chapter 884, Perfect. Proofreader, Papatonks. The remaining candidates followed Bailey Jingwei behind the manor, to a wide clearing that had 3 high seats carved meticulously from wood. The only seat taken was the main one, by a middle-aged man in lavish clothes and of imposing demeanor, Shangguan Feiyun. Among the candidates, only Shangguan Yulin knew Sword King Feiyun. Recognizing him, the youth was instantly on guard. Shangguan Feiyun had left Eastern lands a century ago, but the younger generation had the benefit of the clan holding the portrait of this best in Eastern lands expert, revealing it before this job. Shangguan Yulin's heart hammered in his chest, his brow soaked. "Shangguan Feiyun, why aren't I seeing dragon-cleaving Sword King around?" Bailey Jingwei asked, seeing the empty chair next to him. "His Sword King Feiyun?" The candidates went into a bow on the spot, greeting Sword King Feiyun. "May you always know glory." Ignoring all of them, he glanced at Bailey Jingwei. "Brother Danqing doesn't like crowds and is walking around the manor. He won't be joining this hearing." "Oh, what a shame." Bailey Jingwei sat next to Shangguan Feiyun under the candidates' dumbstruck gazes. His eyes shone as he spoke, "The play is finally starting, ha ha ha." Shuddering, the hearts of others sank. They were stunned and puzzled at Bailey Jingwei's demeanor. Who is he? Isn't he a steward of Flying Cloud Manor? Out of the question. No steward will be this rude to Sword King, daring to sit right next to the Lord himself. Then how else could he control the manor's forces? The candidates were shocked at Bailey Jingwei's young age. Who was he to stand next to the Sword King? Shangguan Feiyun grinned and pointed at him. "You still haven't figured it out? Your host so far is our Imperial Prime Minister, Sir Bailey Jingwei, the Prime Minister himself." It was as if a bomb was dropped, with everyone shaking in the aftermath. The great Prime Minister of the Empire, the Imperial family's key figure, had actually graced this competition with this presence that meant passing it would make one Prime Minister's man. One'd get all the glory and power he could ever want in an instant. Everyone got fired up, eyes burning with excitement. Shangguan Yulin was the most shocked of them all. Bailey Jingwei's fame had been widespread even before he came to the Swordstar Empire, an immense talent in governing, of sharp mind and with ingenious plans. Word went around that he was the wisest in the Swordstar Empire. The Four Lands powers knew the Swordstar Empire only reached such height all thanks to power correlated with politics. Invincible Sword held the power, and Bailey Jingwei's foolproof policies wielded politics while less known than Invincible Sword. As if to conceal this sage's ability, the Four Lands were sure Bailey Jingwei's intellect had given Invincible Sword wings to spread his power. The same Bailey Jingwei was now before them, giving this competition a whole new value. Is this a trap? Shangguan Yulin felt like crying. If he'd known Bailey Jingwei was here, Shangguan would have stayed put and missed this rare chance of ambush. This was the power Bailey Jingwei wielded, that of the mind. One wrong step and it was curtains for any that crossed his path. Scanning their reverent gazes, Bailey Jingwei remained silent. Shangguan Yulin's tense look caught his eye the longest, but then he shook his head. "That miss," pointed out one suspicious man. "From his appearance, I sense fear. A guilty conscience is more like it, ha ha ha." Grinning, Bailey Jingwei said, You're all here, in the finals, handpicked by me. This must make you Grandmaster alchemists. Then, you must all grasp this chance and refine what I ask of you. Please guide us, Prime Minister. The people bowed in excitement. Prime Minister's man, Prime Minister's man. Bailey Jingwei snickered. The goal is perfection. What does that mean? They were all stumped. Why have all of the Prime Minister's requirements been so weird? We can't make sense of it. Bailey Jingwei dispensed with the mystery, explaining, you've refined the highest grade you could in the last round. Some were average 9th grade, others inferior 8th grade. This time, I want you to make me a perfect pill to test just how exquisite your skills are. I want to see a flawless pill. Grade is secondary, as long as you make a perfect pill of that grade. Understand? Yes, we shall follow Prime Minister's instructions. The candidates cupped their hands and confidence surged in their eyes. Making a high-quality pill by dropping a grade couldn't be easier, especially compared to the hasty way the last round was held. This was a test of their basics, to see how well they mastered them for a pretender like Shangguan Yulin who went through hell last week. The topic had him stuck. His pill's grade was all due to his cultivation and some super-secret refining arts. Oh, and don't forget top ingredients. As for top and perfect pills, this tested an alchemist's skill, control, sharpness, and familiarity of the art. He'd be exposed in seconds since he was no professional at this job. His eyes darted around for a way out, only to find Soul Harmony stage guards covering all bases, while Shangguan Feiyun was glaring from his perch the instant he fled. He was done for. He felt like sobbing. What damn rotten luck. I told them I didn't want to, but no, they had to send me. Now I'll never come back. Shangguan Yulin's face fell at the sordid fate awaiting him. He felt victimized. Though failure was quite nigh, he was thinking of any lifeline that he could grasp. Maybe they're holding a true Pill King convention, not a trap to ferret spies. Shangguan Yulin's mind cooked up a fantasy to avoid reality, praying that luck hadn't left him completely. Let me be eliminated and come out alive. At worst, he'd fail and Zhuofan get the credit. There's plenty of chances to get recognition. Must have patience. Unaware, his jittery and anxious attitude gave him away in Bailey Jingwei's eyes. Ha ha ha, this guy is shaking in his boots. Bailey Jingwei said, begin. The flames were burning hot as the finals started. Shangguan Yulin had to sigh and take out his flame as well. While the candidates gave their all one last time, Zhuofan and Shangguan Qingyang were cruising through the manor with a couple guards showing the way. Brother, does the Grand Flying Cloud Manor only have these lame sceneries? So boring. Isn't there anything worth seeing here? A feast for eyes? Zhuofan asked a guard. He had his own goals, separate from Shangguan clans. The World Wind Tunnel. The guard frowned. So there is one. Come on, can't you take me to it? Zhuofan was giddy at his reaction, thinking he scored. The views of Flying Cloud Manor must be spectacular. The guard shook his head. Sir Jiyu, it is forbidden to go there. Only by Sword King's authorization can. Forbidden? All the more reason. Zhuofan was thinking how to get past this problem when a very familiar voice sounded. Leave, I'll take Grandmaster Jiyu to enjoy it. Chapter 885, Old Friend. Chapter 885, Old Friend. Proofreader, Papatonks. Shuddering, Zhuofan was rooted in place. Looking back, he saw a dry smile and a pair of teasing eyes. What the hell is Danqingshan doing here? Frowning hard, Zhuofan's heart was racing. This coot knows who I am. What am I supposed to do if he exposes me? The fact Danqingshan started off with Grandmaster Jiyu showed he had no intention of doing that. For now at least he breathed easier. Zhuofan calmed himself after that analysis. Yes, Sword King, sir. The guards obeyed, leaving at once. Danqingshan held his beard, content that Zhuofan was here. But Shangguan Qingyang was stumped. You're the Sword King, Shangguan Feiyun? You look nothing the part. So old too. Danqingshan shook and chuckled. Young miss, Central Area's Swordstar Empire has 9 Sword Kings. Shangguan Feiyun isn't the only one. Ha ha ha. 9 Sword Kings? Then you're Dragon-Cleaving Sword King, Danqingshan. With a grin, Dragon-Cleaving Sword King announced himself. Shangguan Qingyang was frightened, her heart sinking. Why is there another Sword King in Flying Cloud City? It was bad enough dealing with Shangguan Feiyun, needing them to be very cautious, but now there was another one just like him around. Would their ambush work the second time? Shangguan Qingyang looked white as Paper Zhuo Fan spoke in a way to ease her worries but also get her to go away. Cousin, are you still angry? Can't you accept that you can't just waltz wherever? This is Flying Cloud Manor, not your backyard. Shangguan Qingyang squinted at him, only to see his look. Then he touched her cheek. Look at your pretty face. Being sour is ruining it. Shangguan Qingyang was enlightened. The sudden appearance of Dan Qingshun had her make weird faces, giving her away. Zhuo Fan was watching her back so, acting angry, she twisted away with a pout. Zhuo Fan's warm touch lingered on her cheek, making her blush at once. Dan Qingshun raised an eyebrow, picking up on his meaning and chuckling. Ha ha ha, young miss, don't be cross with Grandmaster Gu. I may be just another guest in the Flying Cloud Manor, but at least everyone knows to show respect. Look, take my token and you'll get to go wherever you want and stroll the manor how you like it. Ha ha ha. Dan Qingshun took a metal brand, with the Dan character carved in it. Shangguan Qingyang peeked at Zhuo Fan. Dragon cleaving sword king cares for you. Go ahead, take it. Play around, but not go overboard. You better bring that token back in 1 hour. Zhuo Fan looked like a big bro looking after his baby sister. Ruffling her hair, Shangguan Qingyang nodded and said thanks before leaving in joy. But she still took a glance behind, at Zhuo Fan, to tell him to be careful. He would be alone with a Sword King. Caution was a must, not that she needed to know Zhuo Fan and this Sword King had met before. The third wheel here was her, also why Zhuo Fan found an excuse to get rid of her and Dan Qingshun played along. She wanted to stay, but the two worked together to get rid of the extra, though she didn't know that, and probably never would. Her thought was she might expose them with her reaction, so Zhuo Fan had used this excuse to get her act together. Zhuo Fan sighed, easing up. Dan Qingshun eyed him hard with amusement. What, is someone watching you? What makes you so sure, senior? Zhuo Fan glanced with a chuckle. Dan Qingshun shook his head. How else do you explain finding an excuse to send her away? Ha ha ha, boy, you're still up to your old tricks. You shoot her while faking concern, when you're using her for your own greed. Though you better watch out and not let greed be the end of you one of these days. Thanks for the compliment. That was a warning. Dan Qingshun's eyes flashed. The girl is from Shangguan clan? Better keep your distance. Oh, you know this too? Ha ha ha, the only one with the nerve to just waltz in here is Shangguan clan. Dan Qingshun spat. From the girl's attitude, I could tell she's hiding something. Bailey Jingwei would have singled her out with one look if it weren't for you covering for her. Zhuo Fan gasped. You mean Swordstar Empire's wisest man, the Prime Minister Bailey Jingwei? He's here in Flying Cloud City too? Not just that, but the host of the Pill King Convention. Dan Qingshun smiled. You two have even met, and he looked quite eager to get you back to the imperial capital. Though he's quite suspicious in nature and only if you're not a Shangguan clan spy. Zhuo Fan paused, then gasped, oh, it's that guy. I just knew his demeanor wasn't fit for a steward of the manor. So he's the Prime Minister. No wonder he's so familiar with Zhuge Changfeng. Ha ha ha. You're still laughing? Dan Qingshun rolled his eyes and sighed. Kid, Bailey Jingwei is shrewd and sharp. Capable of twisting the board and manipulating everything. You got lucky to fall under his radar, but he's bound to grow suspicious in a couple of days. That's when there'll be no escape from his sight. Zhuo Fan nodded. I know that much. I've heard quite a lot about him ever since I came to the central area. He sure looks the part now that I saw him. Though it won't take nearly as long, in just a couple hours he'll know who I am. Oh, my GU name and connection with Shangguan clan. What? Dan Qingshun shuddered and cried out, in 2 hours? How are you so sure? Zhuo Fan shrugged, because I saw how he closed the net. The Pill King Convention is only in name, as he found excuses to throw away the real alchemists and let the spies around. Oh, old Dan, did you know Shangguan clan sent 2 spies? I'm the sub while the main is in the net, awaiting capture. I reckon Bailey Jingwei will get him in 2 hours and, by extension, expose me. Why are you so calm? Dan Qingshun was stunned. Not even I can save you if Bailey Jingwei finds out about you. Zhuo Fan chuckled. Senior, I didn't know you cared so much. I'm truly touched. Who the hell would? It's because of our once friendly dealings. I just don't want you to come to an abrupt end, is all. Dan Qingshan huffed. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Senior sides with me, I see. I'm relieved, ha ha ha. I just don't get what's going through that head of yours. I may side with you, but I have no say in this place. No worries, Senior, I'll be safe and sound. Grinning, Zhuo Fan said, I've already thought it out. Judging by his nature, Bailey Jingwei cherishes talent beyond question. I showed my hand just now to make him sorry about offing me. On top of that, me and the Shangguan clan met by chance, giving enough room to wiggle me out. So you tell me, will he still kill me? Dan Qingshan huffed, haha, you sure are confident. Bailey Jingwei is known to be harsh and decisive. One moment he's smiling and the other he's a devil. Confidence can lead to conceit, falling right into his hands. Not likely. When killing someone, it is either out of emotion, like strong hatred, or having the grounds to do it. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed all-knowingly. My excuse will be emotion, and if that is not enough to budge him, the logical reason he's using is to catch Shangguan clan. He wants the big fish, not just the spy. Getting the spy is only the first phase of his plan. And since he wants to use me, there's no need to spill blood. Ha ha ha. Squinting, Dan Qingshan stared at him for long, then shook his head. You're as twisted as that Bailey Jingwei. What if he loses it and wants to kill you, what then? Then I'll be in Senior's care. Zhuo Fan paused and showed a crafty look and a sly smile. Chapter 886, 5 People. Chapter 886, 5 People. Proofreader, Papatonks. Startled, Dan Qingshan pointed at his nose. Me? How am I to save you? Like I said, we're not that close, merely getting along. There's nothing to make me risk so much just for you. You know very well that behind B there's. Yeah, I know. I've been hearing things ever since I entered Central Area. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Old Dan fought with invincible sword, beaten and thrown down in merely 5 moves. Dan Qingshan's glared at him. Is that how you see a duel of experts, a beatdown between thugs? Pretty much. That's its meaning and that's how it's spread, thus, that's how I heard it, hey. Zhuo Fan's went stern the next second, but it's because of this fight that old Dan had to become one of the 9 sword kings of Swordstar Empire, dragon-cleaving sword king. Behind you are countless innocent lives of your homeland. Old Dan is a kind man and won't want them to suffer. This is why the Swordstar Empire caught you. Dan Qingshan's eyes shook and sighed in pain. I have long said what was the point of being best in Western lands. You're still at another's whim in the Central Area. I'm glad I didn't take the vaulting sword with me, or Western lands would have been defenseless against the invincible sword. Maybe the whole Western lands would have rose up to get that divine weapon back like Shangguan clan did, ha ha ha. Oh, by the way, why are you with the Shangguan clan? Have you come for the soaring sword as well? Dan Qingshan's aged face looked mournful, but recovered soon after, giving Zhuo Fan a weird look. Zhuo Fan shook his head. It's just happened. My goal and theirs differ. I'm not interested in the soaring sword, haha. Shangguan clan's fate is of no concern to me either. It's good you're not tied with them, because the Shangguan clan is now stuck. Dan Qingshan looked at the blazing sky, where the Pill King Convention's final round was being held. Shangguan Feiyun and Bailey Jingwei are working together, leaving no room for the Shangguan clan to escape this quagmire. Birds of a feather flock together. Drifting about, it's hard to find a familiar face. I've been coming to enjoy your friendship, Zhuo Fan, and I'd hate for anything to happen to you. Zhuo Fan stared at his honest look and nodded. I'll be all right. Then I'm relieved. Dan Qingshan patted his shoulder. I came here to confirm whether you were in danger or not. But seeing you so confident shows me it's nothing. Just like back in Double Dragon Gathering, practicing what you preach, with everything in the palm of your hand. But there will always be incidents, and when the time comes and you're in real danger, I'll do all I can to help you. Zhuo Fan grumbled, then whispered in his ear. Dan Qingshan gasped. That can save you? It should. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed, his smile oozing confidence. Though it'll hardly happen, ha ha ha. Meanwhile, in the clearing behind the manor, as the last towering flame was snuffed out, the candidates had finished their pill making. The guards went first and placed the pills in 2 piles only this time. One was made up of top and perfect pills, shiny and smooth, evident of the alchemist's broad experience. 32 pills in total, while the other had average and low pills, with feeble aura, and looking crude. Any untrained eye would call them amateur work, if not duds, and this pile came from only 5 people with a wide grin. Bailey Jingwei pointed at the 5 pills, cast them out, sighed and lamented their luck. While only one relaxed, Shangguan Yulin, cast out means I get to walk. There was no need for guards to lend a helping hand as the 5 left by themselves. The remaining candidates watched on with glee at their misfortune. Hehe, useless. Vermin mixed with true alchemists like us should have been removed from the start. Bailey Jingwei waved and the guards grabbed them before they get too far. Everyone jerked congratulations. You are the finalists welcomed to the imperial capital. Please wait in the parlor. Bailey Jingwei clasped his hands and gestured with a smile. The winners were ecstatic, cheerfully leaving with the guards, but not before giving the 5 losers one last taunting look. Bailey Jingwei turned to the 5 with a cold look. Shangguan Feiyun froze. Taking a casual sip of tea, Bailey Jingwei had a vague smile. People, do you know why I wanted you to stay? Please enlighten us, Prime Minister. They all shivered. Bailey Jingwei flicked his hand and threw their pills on the ground with disgust. You can make 8th grade pills, so why can't you even make a top 7th grade? The 5 looked at each other in silence. I'll tell you, it's because you don't have the basics of alchemy, to the point you just crammed in over a short period of time. Shuddering, Shangguan Yulin was sweating buckets. Bailey Jingwei gave him a creepy smile. With the Crown Prince's serious situation, I'd understand if you made a lower grade, since all of it is based on one's basics. But your skills show you're posing as top alchemists, wanting to slink in. Getting you to heal the Crown Prince will be the same as harming him. Who'd be responsible? You have lied to me and lied to His Majesty. You deserve death. Prime Minister, spare us, please. We didn't mean to. With such a huge crime dumped on their heads, the 5 lost their reasoning, falling to their knees and pleading. Shangguan Yulin was scared to death, horror gripping his heart. He was a Shangguan clan spy, and getting killed because of this was a serious blow to his illustrious name. Bailey Jingwei grinned, giving Shangguan Feiyun a look. Shangguan Feiyun took a deep breath and said, "Get up. Even though death should be your only reward, I'm willing to give you a chance. If you can answer one question of mine, I'll pardon you." "Thank you, sir, thank you." The 5 bowed at once. Shangguan Feiyun muttered, then began, "You might not know, but I've been hailed as a mighty talent since young. My power was outstanding, getting the attention of great experts from Eastern lands. I've always been the best among my peers, ultimately rising to become the best in Eastern land." The 5 were baffled. Where's Sword King going with this? Where's the question? Sinking into his memoirs, Shangguan Feiyun had forgotten his audience. Despite outstanding and matchless, when it came to the clan head seat, father was biased towards my elder brother, giving it to him and not me. Saying something like my nature was skewed, detrimental to the clan. Humph, which expert isn't skewed? From that moment, I left the clan, taking another path, Shangguan clan branch. Yes, my bloodline is the true Shangguan clan, representing its true power. Would you say so? The 4 looked at each other lost. Is that the question? Ain't this too easy? Who didn't know to smooch another's rear? They did it all the time. They bobbed their heads. Yes, yes. It's good you realize it. Shangguan Feiyun said, then let me ask you this. When the yearly memorial of our ancestors is held, how many incense are lit and how long will the washing last? They 5 were stumped. How the hell are we supposed to know about Shangguan clan's tradition? I bet not even the Eastern lands know. That's your affair, not outsiders. Is this a trick question, or what? Clueless as a newborn chick that this pardon wasn't for them, but for Shangguan clansmen. The question was given to avoid rash action and ruin everything for the spy. Also, the memorial of ancestors was a big thing in any clan. Shangguan Feiyun asked it so it fit his story, and to make Shangguan clansmen easier to switch sides when a man was asked to betray, he was asked to forsake the clan, forsake one's ancestors. But by admitting it here and now that you were a spy, you wouldn't be a traitor, just siding with another branch. Shangguan Feiyun was a big shot of the Shangguan clan in the end. Who was to say which branch was the true one and which one the fake? By using this cryptic logic, with life and death hanging by a thread, it was the easiest to break the enemy's will. It was also a mind game cooked up by Bailey Jingwei, so the enemy had no way of noticing it sipping tea still. Bailey Jingwei's eyes glittered as he watched the five, especially the shaken-up Shangguan Yulin. Chapter 887, Exposed Again. Chapter 887, Exposed Again. Proofreader, Papatonks. Bailey Jingwei stood up, his creepy grin driving fear into the five, stopping before the first man. This is your chance. It all comes down to your fortune if you can grasp it. Speak. What is your answer to Sword King Feiyun's question? Bailey Jingwei's sharp eyes glanced at him and roared. The man was on the verge of crying, pleading, Prime Minister, Sword King, I'll never pretend again. I was just trying to seek my luck by omitting some things. I didn't mean to commit such a crime. Then you should treasure this chance more. Bailey Jingwei glared at the wronged guy. Answer Sword King's question and we'll let you go. Even as he was sweating bullets and shaking like a leaf, he still put on a grieving look. Sirs, I really don't know. I would never lie to you. Please spare my poor life, great sirs. The guy looked so feeble, so fragile, so victimized. Bailey Jingwei turned to Shangguan Feiyun, who shook his head. Shangguan Feiyun hooked his finger and the man in question exploded in a shower of blood and gore. Out of nowhere the blood splashed everywhere, especially on the other four, soaking them to the bone. The four shuddered. Feeling the slick and warm blood trickling down their faces, some of them even soiled themselves. Just one question, that was all it took for a perfectly fine, and alive, man to be reduced to a pulp. The dread shook the remaining survivors to the core. Ignorance is a sin. Who's to blame for not even answering Sword King's simple question? Bailey Jingwei shook his head as the blood spread on the ground, and walked to the second one. He pulled his shoulder with a grin. Well, do you know? Pa. Bailey Jingwei's hand felt like the whole world was on his shoulder. His knees softened, his legs felt like jelly, ready to crumble. Luckily Bailey Jingwei was there to hold him straight. Alas, that did not stop the wet feeling coming from his pants. Frowning, Shangguan Feiyun shunned him and held his nose in anger. Bailey Jingwei laughed. Ha ha ha, afraid? Great, that shows you value life. As you know, you only get to live once. Knowing its value means getting to enjoy living. Now that's wisdom. Brother, a wise guy like you should know the right answer. Don't disappoint me. Ah, right. Gulping loudly, the guy shook and bobbed his head. His eyes darted all over for the answer. Coming to a decision at long last, he gnashed his teeth. Screw it all. Since I'll die anywhere, I might as well go down fighting. The man took a deep breath and cupped his hands in confidence as he roared, Prime Minister, Sword King, for Shangguan clan's ancestral memorial, there will be 4 incense and bathing for an hour. Startled, Bailey Jingwei was half believing he got his spy from his confident look, so he deferred to Shangguan Feiyun. But the man shook his head. Bastard. You dare lie with a straight face? You almost had me. I just knew there'll be wise guys clinging to life to such extremes. That's why I had Shangguan Feiyun giving a question only his clan can answer, or you might have lied your way out. Rolling his eyes, Bailey Jingwei walked right past him. Wrong. But isn't it 3 bows to elders and 4 to those who passed? Everyone gives 4 incense to their ancestors. Isn't an hour enough to wash oneself clean? That should be enough respect for the dead. Bam. The guy figured his lie was wrong and started running his mouth for the right answer. But since he wasn't the target, just collateral, Shangguan Feiyun had no remorse in snapping his finger to repeat the previous gory display once more. As the sickening splash and foul smell of blood assaulted the 3 survivors, they were paralyzed in fear. 2 of them had no chance of getting the answer right, falling in the pits of despair. We can't even lie our way out. Only Shangguan Yulin hesitated while sweating. As a valued member of the Shangguan clan, he knew all too well about the answer. If he said it, it proved he was a spy and the enemy would use him. But if he kept his mouth shut, he saw with his own eyes the sordid fate awaiting him when his 2 friends paved the way in blood. To die another day, or suffer now? That was the question. It was a choice he didn't want to make in his life, or with his life on the line he was now at the cruelest point in a man's life. Chapter 888, A Turncoat's Options. Chapter 888, A Turncoat's Options. Proofreader, Papatonks. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes bore down on the kneeling Shangguan Yulin with an excited heart, ready for the final test, in case he's just another frickin' coward that spews anything to cling to his puny life. You're saying you're my nephew, is it? Then you should be aware of the memorial held each year by the Shangguan clan. Absolutely. Shangguan Yulin's eyes flashed, reporting, Uncle, Shangguan clan's yearly memorial burns 36 incenses, for the 36 clan heads before that defended eastern lands, the Shangguan clan, and gave their lives for it. Bathing will take 24 hours the entire day before one shows respect to his ancestors, with the idea of the 36 heavenly cycles in mind to pray for their blessing. Shangguan Feiyun shook and laughed, ha ha ha, well done, only a Shangguan clansman knows true respect. No outsider will know we hold a memorial for 36 ancestors. Does that mean we found our spy? Bailey Jingwei grinned, while Shangguan Yulin tensed and shrunk. Bailey Jingwei helped him up with a kind smile. Young Master Shangguan, relax, we've gone through such trouble to find you so you could guide us. It's only a matter of time before the Shangguan clan will be under Sword King Feiyun's rule. To receive his help so early is your fortune. Moreover, you said you're Sword King Feiyun's nephew. Being so close is bound to bring splendor in young master's future. Shangguan Feixiong and the others shunned me, but I'm still part of the Shangguan clan. As long as any member is willing to come to me, I will look after them, especially when it comes to my dear nephew. Is your mother perhaps? Shangguan Feiyun was more amiable now. Shangguan Yulin bowed, reporting his entire life to the man. Shangguan Feiyun exclaimed, oh, so your sister Yuheng's child. It truly has been ages. We were so close in those days, ha ha ha. Mother has talked about how she misses uncle. Ha ha ha. Shangguan Yulin used the perfect moment to grab his lifeline. Shangguan Feiyun nodded. Bailey Jingwei smiled at the exchange. Sword King Feiyun, it's truly a rare occasion for an uncle to rejoin with his nephew, but before we can delve deeper into the memory lane, I will have to ask young Master Shangguan if you have any other clansmen among these two. Glancing at the quivering messes, the two gave begging looks. They knew now this was a chance for Shangguan clansmen. As long as they became one as well, they'd see tomorrow. So the two made doe eyes at Shangguan Yulin. He was their only hope in this abyss. Prime Minister sir, the Shangguan clan doesn't have filth. Shangguan Yulin spoke in a cold tone. The two's legs gave from under them, falling paralyzed and in despair. Bailey Jingwei nodded and said, Sword King sir, the previous act was to find young Master Yulin. Since he's the only one, take them away. No, that will mean they'll leak this event. When Shangguan Feixiong finds out, he'll hunt me down. Ha ha ha, no worries, young Master Yulin, I'll be sure to have men look after you. Take them away and let them go. Bailey Jingwei waved. The two nodded with hope. Shangguan Yulin frowned, his head shaking anxiously. You can't. I can't have peace as long as they live. Only the dead can hold a secret. Shangguan Yulin struck before the other two spoke again. Taking their lives, the two peak ethereal stage cultivators were scared to death just moments ago. This gave this fresh soul harmony stage cultivator the chance to kill them easily. Bailey Jingwei squinted. Shangguan Yulin gave them an awkward look as he bowed. Uncle, Prime Minister, forgive me for overstepping. Ha ha ha, lighten up. It's I who was too nice. Young Master Yulin did well. Bailey Jingwei chuckled and turned serious. Young Master, now that you have Sword King Feiyun's support, can you tell us your purpose here? Shangguan Yulin nodded, completing his betrayal by revealing Shangguan Feixiong's entire plan. Bailey Jingwei smiled, just like I thought, they're ready for a second assault. That means they'll all work as one, and not scatter. Then where you're staying in Flying Cloud City is Eastern Gate's GU household. Shangguan Yulin's eyes shone, his voice steady. Bailey Jingwei mumbled, GU household? That does sound familiar. Of course it is, Prime Minister, since it is the house of the same guest you honored today, Gu Yifan. What? Bailey Jingwei shook. Grandmaster Gu is one of you? But Sword King Feiyun said your clan isn't great with alchemy. How can you have someone like him? Him, one of us? As if. Humph, he's nothing but a frickin'. Shangguan Yulin gnashed his teeth at his mere mention, spilling everything once again, warning for good measure at the end. Prime Minister sir, Jiyu Yifan is also Shangguan clan's spy, even if my sub. You must erase him before he reports back. Sub. You're the sub if you ask me. Bailey Jingwei glanced over and shook his head with a sad gaze. Grandmaster Jiyu, a truly rare talent, was now an enemy. At the very least, he and Shangguan clan aren't that close, only making use of each other. This gives me room to work with and use him. Bailey Jingwei came back from his machinations with a smile. Young Master Shangguan, you've done your uncle, Sword King Feiyun, a great service and revealed a great weakness to me. I wanted to bring Grandmaster Jiyu to the imperial capital, having no caution around him at all. Please accept this bow from me, young master, for opening my eyes. Bailey Jingwei bowed. Shangguan Yulin helped him up at once, though he looked prideful. See, the great Bailey Jingwei is bowing to me. Ain't I awesome, or what? Shangguan Feiyun snickered. Prime Minister, how are you going to kill him? Should I do it? Shangguan Yulin looked way too eager to dole out violence, but then he thought about it and said, just that the miss next to him is my cousin. Allow me to take care of her, Prime Minister. Don't harm her, I vow that she won't hinder you. Bailey Jingwei read him like a book. Young master must admire that miss. Shangguan Yulin blushed and gave a weak nod. Ha ha ha, sure, since she's with young master, I won't touch her. Bailey Jingwei promised. Shangguan Feiyun promised, the hostility between my brother and me won't spread to a helpless girl, especially one such as my niece. Shangguan Yulin eased then, when will you strike against that Jiyu punk? We need him to live for a while longer. Bailey Jingwei denied. What? Shangguan Yulin panicked. Why? After the Pill King convention, his name will reach far and wide. If anything happens to him, it will send alarms. Bailey Jingwei smirked. Besides, we still need him to report back to the Shangguan clan. What do you need him to report? I can do it as well. Slapping his chest, Shangguan Yulin showed that what Fan could do, so could he. Bailey Jingwei sized him up then shook his head. Young Master Yulin, this you must not, because you've been eliminated out of the competition. I have. Yes, how else are you to watch Shangguan Feixiong's every move? Bailey Jingwei showed a sly grin. I thought Shangguan clan would only send one spy and planned on passing you to help Flying Cloud Manor. But now, since there's two of you, it will turn out far better. Besides giving the Shangguan clan the information I want, I'll also know what they're doing. Any slight delay will lead to different plans of action. That's why I decided to have Jiyu Yifan report back and you watch Shangguan Feixiong and read his doubts. This will make my plan of attack all the more precise. Understand? Chapter 889, To Each with Their Own Greed. Chapter 889, To Each with Their Own Greed. Proofreader, Papatonks. Squinting, Shangguan Yulin spoke hesitantly. You know Shangguan clan is staying at Jiyu household, so why not attack? Why? Ha ha ha, young Master Yulin, you still don't get my idea. Bailey Jingwei smirked. Shangguan clan has many experts. Even if we attack, they'll scatter and we'd hardly get any of them. But even if we do, experts aren't so quick to give in. By setting traps around the household, they'll soon notice as well. This leaves the best solution to use the manor. We'll take adequate precautions so once they come in, they'll never get out. Shuddering, Shangguan Yulin gasped, You want to kill them all? Ha ha ha, it does sound greedy when you say it like that. You either do it right or not do it at all. After sipping his tea, Bailey Jingwei smirked. Most of Shangguan clan's strength will be crushed here and thus weaken eastern lands. As the sole survivor of this disaster, you'll be our eyes and ears inside the eastern lands. This will be its downfall. When Sword King Feiyun will rule it, young master will become the first minister, showered in endless glory. Getting some cousin couldn't be easier. It's all up to you what image suits you. You can be the grieving hero or a sufferer as you become Sword King Feiyun's right hand. I can make it happen. I can make it so you will have the right to embrace any girl you want without repercussions. Shangguan Yulin's brow shook, betraying his excitement. Bailey Jingwei peeked at him and continued, Young master, to the survivor goes everything. Regardless of morality and name, it's at the whim of the winner. History is written by the victor. So young master need not be concerned that the death of these Shangguan experts will label you a traitor of eastern lands because we have the power to make you its hero. Everyone will bow at your feet, even your cousin. If you keep this secret, we won't speak a word of it either. Bailey Jingwei's name as Prime Minister of the Swordstar Empire wasn't just for show. He could read Shangguan Yulin like a book, twist his words and paint a fantastic future the clueless youth would get lost in. The kid knew that an attack on Jiyu household would result in heavy losses on Shangguan clan's side, but his uncle and the Venerables were too strong to be captured. Not even if Shangguan Feiyun was included. Bailey Jingwei wanted them all gone, an entirely different problem. Not to mention, Shangguan Feixiong was his uncle who looked after him since young, as well as his cousin's father. If one day Shangguan Qingyang learned that her father's death had something to do with him, her hatred would know no bounds. But now, Bailey Jingwei's intricate speech hit home, right at his core. Weren't you scared of being found out and end up shamed for your betrayal? Well, we have a solution. You'll not only be worry-free, but gain all the glory too. Ain't that a good deal? The best. Shangguan Yulin's mind made instant peace with his betrayal, all under the cover of fame and fortune, willing to become the devil's right hand without blame or guilt. Men would be damned for all eternity. He was still caught up in that fantasy of his and oblivious that once Bailey Jingwei helped him rise, he could also crush him as well. Having your weakness exposed tended to do that. You would be nothing more than his puppet, the whole point to the saying, one mistake lead to ruin. The only chance of overcoming it was by embracing it, facing it head on, or forever be bound by it. Or maybe it was simpler than that. He might have figured it out, just that he was looking for excuses to let Bailey Jingwei use him, since being used meant Bailey Jingwei needed him alive at the heart of all his desire. It was not fame, glory, uncle or even cousin, but himself. That settles it, young Master Yule. Bailey Jingwei cupped his hands at Shangguan Yulin with a smile. The youth replied in kind and left. Bailey Jingwei finally showed his disdain once he was gone. Hypocrite. Also beyond selfish. Shangguan Feiyun added, looking at the extra blood around. Misery loves company. Even if there's no friendship involved, there's no rush to finish them off. More like his too scared to lose his puny life. Bailey Jingwei nodded. I never planned on letting them leave, only testing your cousin's character. And what a test. This guy is a good pawn, but not trustworthy. Guard, have someone watch the Jiyu household. That guy in particular. Yes, sir. The guard obeyed. Shangguan Feiyun called before he left, and that cousin of his. Since he thinks of himself a lover, then let's give him a shameless reason to give his life for us, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei nodded. Good one, Sword King Feiyun, but there's some things I wish Sword King would clarify for me. Prime Minister, there's no need for such a courteous tone. Please speak. Sword King, sir, are you that close to his mother? Shangguan Feiyun's mouth twitched and mocked. The hell I am. She's always been a shrew, that one, and a tomboy. The mere sight of her annoyed me. Who knew she'd have a son? Humph, the guy who had her must be one poor devil to deal with all that craziness. Ha ha ha, Sir Sword King is quite the actor, making yourself a friend of the dead. Bailey Jingwei chuckled, then frowned in all seriousness. It's clear Grandmaster Jiyu is only stopping over in the central area, but I never consider him to be tied to Shangguan clan. At least they're not too close. I have to get him on my side. It'll be such a loss to this world for a Grandmaster to die along with these rats. My heart would bleed. Bailey Jingwei sighed as he walked towards the manor. Shangguan Feiyun followed. Prime Minister sure loves talent. 15 minutes later, one old man and a youth were casually sipping tea in a gazebo close to the manor. No one was around to disturb them. Zhuo Fan checked the sun's position and said, Old Dan, they should be finished by now. Bailey Jingwei should have gotten his spy. Don't worry though, nothing will change. I wager he'll be even more differential. Humph, like a true egomaniac. You should thank your lucky stars that he won't kill you. Dan Qingshan rolled his eyes. Laughter broke out. Ha ha ha, Grandmaster Jiyu, dragon-cleaving Sword King, so this is where you were. You had me look all over for you. The two turned to Bailey Jingwei walking over with Shangguan Feiyun. Zhuo Fan stood up and bowed, looking afraid. Prime Minister sir, forgive my early disrespect, having not realized who sir was. Grandmaster Jiyu, you're too modest. There's nothing to forgive, ha ha ha. Please, get up, or I'll feel guilty. Bailey Jingwei had a bright smile and looked quite respectfully at Shuofan. That stunned Dan Qingshun. The boy's right. Bailey Jingwei didn't mention the spy, but treated him even more courteously than before. Does Bailey Jingwei even know who he really is? It's like two weasels are fighting to better the other. Shuofan was quite humble as he noticed Shangguan Feiyun. Sir is. He is the lord here, Sword King Shangguan Feiyun. Bailey Jingwei introduced shaking. Shuofan gasped and bowed again. Sword King Feiyun, sir, forgive me, forgive me. It's fine. Sir can rise. Shangguan Feiyun helped him straightening his clothes. Shuofan beamed. Ha ha ha, I'm a mere radiant stage cultivator but actually got to meet two Sword Kings and the Prime Minister in one day. I've never been more excited in my life. Prime Minister, when Sir Dragon Cleaving Sword King said he was defending his home, he almost shocked me to death. I'm truly ashamed. Dan Qingshun frowned in silence. This boy's acting is out of this world. Even I'd buy into his role if I didn't know his ruthless nature. Ha ha ha, Sir Ji-yu is truly funny. Come, sit. Bailey Jingwei laughed and started, not letting him make a fool of himself, but also quite appreciative of him. By the looks of it, Grandmaster Ji-yu is a simple man who only knows alchemy. Shangguan Yulin was right. The Shangguan clan made him a spy and is unrelated to them at all. Shangguan Feiyun and he shared a nod. This neophyte spy was the best pawn to use and implement their counter as smiles traced beneath the gazebo, each hiding their greed and plans. Chapter 890, Flawless. Chapter 890, Flawless. Proofreader, Papatonks. In a quaint little gazebo behind the Flying Cloud Manor, 4 people were enjoying the good life, laughing and chatting to their full content like old pals. The totally harmonious mood felt surreal to the lass watching them. See cousin. Pausing, the 4 put down their teacups and turned towards the newcomer. Shangguan Qingyang looked complicated at the uncle she never saw before. Oh, Grandmaster Gu's cousin, Miss Ji-yu. Ha ha ha, come, please sit. Shangguan Feiyun looked at his panicking niece without exposing her, merely pointing at the chair next to him. We were just having a chat with your cousin. If you don't mind it, take a seat as well. Shangguan Qingyan's brow shook. As a young miss of the Shangguan clan on her first undercover mission, she had been warned by her father and the elders many times to close her heart. But seeing the betraying uncle, she let her nervousness slip. Shangguan Feiyun and Bailey Jingwei understood at a glance and merely smiled. Shangguan Feiyun must be lacking men to send a naive child like her as spy, ha ha ha. Shuofan grinned inside. The appearance of Shangguan Qingyang and her reaction made her suspicious, but Shangguan Feiyun ignored it, having known everything. And since Bailey Jingwei was fond of Shuofan as the 4 chatted moments before, Bailey Jingwei had tested him to ascertain the panicky reaction all newbie spies were endowed with. He did not disappoint. Thus, Bailey Jingwei lowered his guard and accommodated to this greenhorn playing spy in the big world. Shangguan Qingyang came here to cover both herself and Shuofan. Shangguan Feiyun grinned and stared at her, making her tense. He laughed in the end. Ha ha ha, I'm inviting her for a chat but she's just standing there looking at me in silence. Is she thinking something bad? Shangguan Qingyang panicked and sweat trickled down her brow. Shangguan Feiyun shared a look with Bailey Jingwei as the two enjoyed teasing her. Younger, are you alright? Why the grimace? Is your illness acting up? Shuofan walked to her to block her flustered face and signaling her with his eyes. Shangguan Qingyang used this chance to get away. Yes, cousin, it has been acting out and I feel weak. Help me back. Oh, sure. Take out Sword King's token. Here. Thanks. Shuofan took it and rushed to the 3 to bow. Forgive me, the elements in my cousin's body are unbalanced and can only go on with pills. I'll be saying my goodbye now. Dan Qingshun nodded and accepted the token. Then I won't hold you any longer, Grandmaster Ji-yu. Go and look after Miss Ji-yu. Thank you. Shuofan walked away. Shangguan Feiyun raised an eyebrow. Grandmaster Ji-yu, since Miss Ji-yu is hurting, why not heal her here? We have all the ingredients you need and Grandmaster Ji-yu may use them at his discretion. Ah, it's fine. Shuofan looked guilty and gave a silly smile. Thank you, sir, but making the pill for my cousin is complicated and takes too long to be made on the spot. I still have some at home and I need to return quickly to avoid complications. Bailey Jingwei squinted. Then we won't be delaying you, Grandmaster Ji-yu. But sir needs to get ready. In around 5 days we'll be leaving for the imperial capital. Grandmaster Gu has to make sure Miss Gu's medicine will be accounted for on the journey as well. Stunned, Zhuofan gave an awkward nod, then left with Shangguan Qingyang. Grandmaster Gu's words are full of suspicion. Dan Qingshan glanced at the other two and said, if Miss Gu has such a deadly illness, how could he leave the medicine at home? Their reactions are off too. Of course it's off, since it's hard for a couple of green spies to stay calm around us. Slipping is a given, ha ha ha. Shangguan Feiyun waved carelessly. Dan Qingshan started, you mean their dragon-cleaving sword king has just missed a good play and doesn't know yet? Bailey Jingwei grinned, his eyes shining with wisdom. We have already caught one spy, who gave these two to us. Shangguan clan had sent one overt and one covert to cover all bases. However, they'd never guess regardless of spies, they've overreached, ending up playing in our palms, ha ha ha. Dan Qingshan gasped, it's going just like he said. Bailey Jingwei knows who he is but doesn't expose him. Is it out of cherishing or logic though? Dan Qingshan asked, why then did you let them walk? Well, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei grinned, Grandmaster Gu is a man among men, a rare alchemical talent. It's such a shame to see him fade away. And the spy already told us Grandmaster Gu is hiding from his pursuit in the central area. That's how he stumbled upon the Shangguan clan and got wrapped up in this mess. He has no real ties to the clan. This will make it easy for him to be made use of in the service of the empire, as long as his wishes are met. Dan Qingshan nodded, true, I'd do anything to make use of such a talent as well. Why not expose it and make him work for us? Won't that make him one of us for sure? Shangguan Feiyun mocked. Dan Qingshan frowned, what does that mean? Ha ha ha, dragon-cleaving sword king, it's like this. Scratching his nose, Bailey Jingwei's eyes shone, getting the spies is easy, but I want one to pass on my words, to get them to come and destroy them all. That man can never be Grandmaster Gu. Shangguan Feiyun nodded, as a spy, Gu Yifan is as green as it gets. He seemed calm but botched when pressed for details. If we had laid the cards on the table then, we'll be putting him in a tough spot when asked to give a fake report to the elders of Shangguan clan, giving himself away. It was better to keep him acting as their spy and provide counterintelligence. He believes we gave him real information when it's actually fake, but coming from him, the Shangguan clan will definitely buy it. It will make their destruction all the more assured. At worst, we'll just get him on our side right at the end. It's all the same. Amazing. Dan Qingshan praised. Bailey Jingwei waved casually, it's nothing praiseworthy, dragon-cleaving sword king. It's nothing but a little trick, ha ha ha. Dan Qingshan was silent, it's not for you, so why so smug? It's that brat who's truly great for seeing through the great Prime Minister's plan to the last detail. To the point he made sure to use emotion and logic so you won't kill him. You're now just playing in his palm. One more treacherous than the next. But what's the boy after anyway? Regardless. Dan Qingshan glanced at Bailey Jingwei and shook his head. Sir Bailey, a Prime Minister of the Empire, of your marvelous talent, is going to get it now. The same kid you're trying to use, is in fact a shrewder monster than you. Meanwhile, Zhuofan and Shangguan Qingyang left the manor and were rushing back. They looked tense and jittery. Are you nervous? Yes. Me too. The two held hands and felt the other's anxiety. While Zhuofan's was fake, Shangguan Qingyang's couldn't be more real. Chapter 891, Triumphant Hero. Chapter 891, Triumphant Hero. Proofreader, Papatonks. After a good deal of walking, Zhuofan looked back to see no one on their tail and stammered to console Shangguan Qingyang, it's fine, they don't seem to doubt us. But I'm still so nervous. Looking behind as well, Shangguan Qingyang's face was stiff and unnatural. Zhuofan rolled his eyes. Hey, Shangguan Feiyun is your uncle, so what's so scary about him? Not even I, an outsider, am scared of him. Though seeing her anxious demeanor, Zhuofan shook his head, bringing her into a hug and slowly giving her pats on the back. Feeling better now? We still need to hurry back to uncle. You can't be seeing him like this or he won't give us any heavy missions. When he was worried Shangguan Qingyan's naive nature would give them away to Shangguan Feixiong, raising doubts in Bailey Jingwei's presence with their acting was fake to gain their trust, since they already had another spy spilling the beans and wanted them to give their report. It was the only way for him to get the two sides to duke it out, so he come out as the sole winner. However, once Shangguan Feixiong sees this chick like this, he'll seriously doubt us. We even deceived them with such obvious signs. Who knew what this might lead to? Maybe the factions would fight only ages later. He didn't do it out of compassion for this wee girl, but to fit Bailey Jingwei's plan by drawing the enemy under their roof, while also gaining the Shangguan clan's trust. He was the glue tying the two fuses together, and it was his job to get rid of any reason that might split them apart, all to enact my flawless plan. The poor girl had no idea of the devious plan in the man's mind. Being hugged all of a sudden like a child and rubbing her back made her feel warm, and she started to blush. She did not hate it though, her hand sliding around Zhuo Fan's waist in time with his rubbing. Startled, Zhuo Fan froze with a weird look on his face, stopping his hand on her back. What's this chick up to? Is she making use of me in this situation? I'm consoling her, but she's out to get more out of this. How selfish. Luck had it Shangguan Qingyang did not read minds or she'd spew blood. Who's using who here? When you started it? Feeling Zhuo Fan get stiffer than her, Shangguan Qingyang showed a bitter smile. She took back her hands and left his embrace. Thank you, I'm much better now. Great, I'm used to doing this to young Sanzi to get him to relax. It looks to be working, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan gave a dry chuckle and nodded at her recovered state. Resuming their walk, Shangguan Qingyang peeked at him and muttered, you looked quite calm in front of those great people. You even smiled, like you're of the same cloth. Why then now? Was I scared? Zhuo Fan smiled as she finished her question. Ha ha ha, I had to force myself through it or they'd found me out. My life doesn't matter, but what about young Sanzi? Like my master once said, all living things have their own path. Even the tiniest creature lives in its own mundane way. I am weak as an ant and no royalty, but to secure my life, I have to keep a straighter face than anyone. You don't believe me, touch it. Zhuo Fan stuck his face closer to Shangguan Qingyang and made her giggle, pushing him away in fake anger. Shangguan Qingyang then found Zhuo Fan much closer to her heart. Actually, you're not that insignificant, you're a rare 11th grade alchemist. If not for the Pill King convention, I'd never know your good side. What's the use? Zhuo Fan shook his head. In a world where only power matters, a great alchemical skill would only make you a strong faction supporter. As a radiant stage cultivator with average talent, I've gotten used to being shooed and giving me orders. While I'm not a bug in the truest sense, I do have the strength of one. Shangguan Qingyang stared into Zhuo Fan's bitter look and felt sad, and something peculiar that made her heart throb. Zhuo Fan looked vulnerable, but she saw behind it the drive to push through the suffering, to go against his own destiny, which filled her vision. Unlike her kind, who were born with a silver spoon in their mouths, Zhuo Fan had to work his way up. This fortitude was very attractive. Zhuo Fan liked to toy around or suck up to someone like a lowlife. All was done with a purpose in mind, to live on with his child. That was why he was so much calmer than her in front of the Central Area's 9 Sword Kings. Seeing him braving through hardship had moved her, of course. That was just Shangguan Qingyang's misconception. Zhuo Fan was just a fallen angel upon this mortal world, of the noblest ilk, with total disregard to all so-called experts. Why would he care about some Genesis stage cultivators? Though she was right about one thing. Be it in the former or current life, Zhuo Fan was used to staying low and working his way up. That was why struggle was at the core of his being, especially since he had once seen what the top offered, making fame and fortune look dull to him. All he wanted was to return to his peak. Taking a casual stroll, the lovely couple arrived home. Shangguan Qingyang grew nervous seeing the door, feeling sad their walk was so short. She never felt like this when the three of them went out having fun, making this trek all the more valuable. Zhuo Fan sensed nothing, going up to the door. Shangguan Qingyang stopped him from knocking. Wait. What is it? Zhuo Fan asked. Shangguan Qingyang gnashed her teeth. Is young Sanzi's mother still alive? Zhuo Fan frowned, then nodded. Do you love her? Zhuo Fan's eyes shook and gave a firm nod. Shangguan Qingyang took the lead and knocked on the door. Zhuo Fan was startled. What's with this chick and her questions? Shangguan Qingyang never looked at him and kept her head low. Jiu Santong opened the door with a bored look. What took you so long? That rotten guy has returned ages ago. Hey, you mean cousin, right? He'll soon become your uncle, my brother. You should show him some respect and not call him names. Jiyu Santong's appearance washed away all of Shangguan Qingyan's troubles, hugging the pouting child and pecking him. Come, young Sanzi, let me kiss you. She put him down then went on cheerfully. Jiyu Santong eyed Fan oddly. Dad, what's up with Auntie? How should I know? Rolling his eyes, Fan paused, then started. Young Sanzi, what did you call her? Ua. Jiyu Santong blushed. Auntie. Humph, you little brat, you're truly getting into your role, I see. Rubbing his little head, Fan chuckled and went in, unaware of Jiyu Santong's earnest face in the parlor. Fan looked around to find it empty. What's going on? Did the Shangguan clan get scared of being ambushed and left? Noises came from around as Shangguan Feixiong came in with 3 elders. The other experts of Shangguan clan streamed in, a few hundreds, clapping hard and looking happy at him. Fan felt awkward. Uncle, what? No need to say anything, we know. Shangguan Feiyun laughed. We know you're a hero that gained Shangguan Feiyun and Bailey Jingwei's trust and became their guest. Yifan, I knew you were going to pull it off, slipping into the flying cloud manor. And you've been hiding yourself well, 11th grade alchemist. If I knew, I'd only be sending you, ha ha ha. Slapping Fan's chest hard, Shangguan Feixiong was greatly relieved by his success. Yifan, you're truly a hero to our Shangguan clan. Chapter 892, Complement the Map. Chapter 892, Complement the Map. Proofreader, Papa Tonks. Ah, you're too kind, uncle. It's my honor to give my services to Shangguan clan, ha ha ha. Fan waved his hands around. He might sound humble but the broad smile betrayed his thoughts. Shangguan Feixiong chuckled and shook his head. Fan looked like was still up to his old habits, unlike their bluebloods cultivators, but he had to admit the kid had done a great merit to him. A feat no other clansman could take from him. This alone made the details unimportant. They'd be addressed in the following days anyway. Even if he had the habits of a common man, the true style of a young master would be instilled into him in the coming years, and not shame Shangguan clan. Shangguan Feixiong found Fan all the more pleasing, laughing. The same went for the rest of the people here, all welcoming now. It was not their fault all of Shangguan clan's heroes sucked for the job and only he could do it. The step-nephew of the clan head had risked life and limb for the clan. It was strange if they didn't welcome him. Using one's life to prove oneself had that effect on people. The constant looks of disdain in the recent past had now been replaced with approval. Some had yet to even stop clapping. With a slow step, someone came behind Fan and patted his shoulder. Fan looked back at Shangguan Yulin, only to find not an ounce of hostility in his eyes, even cupping his hands. Brother Jiyu, congratulations. Your great efforts had given the Shangguan clan stuck in despair a way forward. You have also helped me by covering my mistake. If not for you entering the manor, I, who has failed, would be condemned by the clan. Who knew how many lives would be lost as we burst into the manor blindly? Brother Jiyu has done a great service to the Shangguan clan not seen for thousands of years and saved so many of us. On behalf of myself and all my clansmen part of this attack, you have my deepest thanks, Brother Jiyu. Shangguan Yulin was tearing up and giving a low bow. His action touching, his respect commendable, earning the approval of all. Fan sneered inside. He would have bought his act if not for already knowing this brat's twisted character. Since you wanna play, let's play. Fan's face split into a grin, blabbering as he helped him up. Cousin, don't say that. We're all in this together. We're all doing it for the Shangguan clan. There's no difference between us. It won't matter if you die, for there's me. So rest easy, ha ha ha. Ua. Shangguan Yulin's face twitched. Did he just wish for me to die? Yifan, what nonsense are you talking about? How can he die? Aren't you all back safe and sound? Stop speaking ill in these times. Shangguan Feixiong frowned and chided. Fan noticed his blunder and explained, No, uncle, that's not it. What I mean is I finished cousin's botched mission. Shangguan Yulin's eyes shook, his face twitching. How is this better? At least it was a presumption before, but now it's like I'm literally dead since you carried out my mission. He really wants me dead. No, uncle, I mean. Noticing Shangguan Yulin's dark face, the others chuckled at Zhuo Fan's act, making him nervous. I want to say that if the mission would have taken him from us, I would have taken it upon myself to finish it and give him peace. Shangguan Yulin was choking in rage, his chest rising with every breath, but he couldn't throttle him, not with so many witnesses. This punk is fumbling and ranting nonsense. Why did I even bother talking to him, to make myself look worse? I can't touch him now, not when he has everyone's approval for finishing the mission. Thought the punk looks like he's spewing stuff in panic, but every time he doesn't realize he always comes back to wanting me dead. Have I done anything to him to deserve this slander? Zhuo Fan was growing flustered by the minute while Shangguan Yulin held his head. Shangguan Feixiong didn't want this play to continue and said, all right, you don't need to say it. I'll speak in your stead. What you mean is that you're of the same heart with Yulin, that you both gave your all for the clan, right? Yes, that's exactly it. Zhuo Fan slapped his leg and beamed. I wanted to say that cousin deserves some of the credit, ha ha ha. Brother Jiyu, you're too kind. Shangguan Yulin was bashful. Shangguan Feixiong laughed. You've always been so sharp-tongued, kid, but now you're quite vague. How can you be such a downer when you're that excited? Now I know why Yang has been so crude lately. She's been hanging out with you and you ruined her. Please forgive me, uncle, for ruining cousin. Like a child in the wrong, Zhuo Fan immediately played the victim card. Shangguan Feixiong ignored it. It's fine. As long as the heart is true, the details don't matter. Also, Yifan. Shangguan Feixiong grabbed Zhuo Fan's shoulder. I used to think taking you as my nephew was my greatest regret. I didn't think you'd help Shangguan clan so much so soon. I was right to take you in. Zhuo Fan's eyes were filled with emotion looking at his uncle Feixiong. We're also caught by surprise with the kid's character, smarts and determination. It was the right choice in sending him on this task, ha ha ha. The three venerables threw in their 2 cents, laughing. The two rolled their eyes. These coots wouldn't have placed him as sub or put a watch on him if that was true. With Shangguan Feixiong and the venerables' approval, the rest of the clansmen were more open with Zhuo Fan. Shangguan Yulin's darkness only grew as he observed their joy. After the happy moment was gone, Shangguan Feixiong turned grave. Yifan, what have you found out while being a guest in the Flying Cloud Manor? Uncle, I wanted to explore the place, but I was accosted by Dragon Cleaving Sword King for a long time. That's why. Dragon Cleaving Sword King is here as well? Shangguan Yulin turned to Shangguan Yulin with a shocked look. Shangguan Yulin bowed. Uncle, I haven't seen a shadow of Dragon Cleaving Sword King in the manor. I did not know of this. Shangguan Feiyun nodded and sighed. Shangguan Feiyun was bad enough. Now another Sword King came as well as Prime Minister Bailey Jingwei. This mission is becoming more dangerous by the second. If we can't get an idea of the area, rushing head-on will incur heavy losses, even more than last time. Everyone gave a hard nod. Don't worry, uncle, I'll be sure to scout it perfectly. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone as he declared. He didn't want the Shangguan clan's attack to fail, since it'd ruin his own operation. Shangguan Feixiong was vexed. Yulin said Bailey Jingwei will take the selected alchemists to Imperial Capital in 5 days. Do you have enough time to scout a manor so large? Yes. Someone else responded. This time everyone turned to Shangguan Qingyang. Rushing inside, Shangguan Feixiong asked, Yang, you didn't even come to greet us when you came but run here now? What are you up to? Up to this. Shangguan Qingyang's brow twitched and Shangguan Qingyang giggled, spreading a sketch on the table for all to see. Shangguan Feixiong gasped, that's the map of the manor. With a smug grin, Shangguan Qingyang continued, while Dragon Cleaving Sword King had been bothering Brother Jiyu, I used his token to wander the premises and assess the situation. But everything looked mostly normal, with some few places not allowing me entry even with the token. These are 5 in total, which makes me believe what we want is in one of these places. Shangguan Feixiong looked at the map and nodded. That means my task is to complement the map. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Chapter 893, Control. Chapter 893, Control. Proofreader, Papatonks. Whoosh. In the backyard, Shangguan Yulin sneaked out a jade slip when no one was around. He made a sign and shot into the sky as if nothing happened. He returned to his room and shut the door. Humph, Jiu Yifun, laugh while you can these 2 days, under uncle and others' care, but once Shangguan Feiyun ends them, you'll go down as well, ha ha ha. The mad cackle bounced off his walls, including his desire and hatredom. Not a bad idea. But will it work? A rough voice pierced the quiet room. Shangguan Yulin was still caught in his fantasy, mocking, damn right. Flying cloud manner aren't fools, Shangguan Yulin caught himself as a blackness swirled around him. Everything went dark, even his vision. Master? SSS tilde. Shangguan Yulin gasped and soured. He was more than familiar with this image, or lack thereof. He met that sicko last time in the woods, but now it seemed he'd been followed back. Stuck in the same blackness once more left a bitter taste in his mouth. This place is packed with Shangguan clan experts, yet you just barge in. Can't a guy live in peace for once? Is there no safe place for me out there? Am I ever going to be free of this sicko? Shangguan Yulin whined, cursed and complained, in his mind of course, Master, what is Sir doing here? Why, you're not happy to see me. No, I'm ecstatic you treat me with such care. Shangguan Yulin put away the sour tone and switched to flattery. Zhuo Fan smirked, punk, don't think for a second Shangguan clan being here will stop me from taking care of you. Humph, there's no place out there I can't enter. Yes, Sir is so amazing, I'm in awe. Bobbing his head, Shangguan Yulin kowtowed. Though his insides were bitter, finding this old sicko so able as to enter even here. This place was under Shangguan clan's supervision at all times to prevent any attack. Where Flying Cloud Manor's people would be found, and yet this old freak could just stroll right in. Don't tell me the sicko's stronger than those guys. It was better he didn't know that this sicko was next door. Ignorance was truly bliss in this case. Zhuo Fan chuckled. Did you get the word out? Ah. Shangguan Yulin wore a bright and dumb smile. Master, what do you mean? I don't. Bam. Zhuo Fan lashed his face with the dragon tail, sending him sprawling. Humph, boy, don't be a smartass. I know your rotten character better than anyone. You have sided with Shangguan Feiyun and Bailey Jingwei today and you still try to act dumb? Master, please don't say random things. I didn't side with them at all. I'm completely innocent. Shangguan Yulin denied it all with a victimized look. The Shangguan clan knows I've been eliminated from the competition and I'm not even hurt. How could I just betray my clan? Last time I agreed with Sir since you had me beaten to an inch of my life. Shangguan Yulin completely destroyed his image by tearing up. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked. You think I'm like your clansman, ignorant? I've seen the 3-round competition Bailey Jingwei set up from the side. The first was a 7th grade pill, testing one's patrimony. Second was doing one's best, only worded so you go easy. While on the last round, that was the true test of one's alchemy, a topic I foresaw, the making of a perfect or top pill. Ha ha ha. Don't you think it'll raise an eyebrow when you can make an 8th grade but not a top 7th grade? The first 2 rounds attested to you being an 8th grade alchemist, so making a top but lower grade pill was a given. This was Bailey Jingwei's final aim. Going up but never coming down. So don't insult me by telling me you lied your way out of Bailey Jingwei's clutches. Shangguan Yulin shuddered while his insides were frozen in shock. He was completely sold by the sicko's flawless analysis, whether he hid to watch or just plain guesswork. Also, Bailey Jingwei is known as the wisest man in the empire, not some brash musclehead to force you like me. Humph, he definitely struck your unsound mind at the time. What's so hard about convincing an anxious whelp anyway? Zhuo Fan berated. Kid, did you already forget the vivid and heavy vow you made me? To think you're trying to fool me, haha. Nice, very nice. It seems to me I should go search for another disciple. The black area seeped with bloodlust. Shuddering, Shangguan Yulin paled and begged, Master, forgive me. I was only joking. I didn't realize Master's ingenious intellect and made a mistake. Yes, I have sided with Shangguan Feiyun, but I didn't have a choice. They threatened my life. If I hadn't given in. Fine, you betrayed Shangguan clan and not me, anyway. Why should I care? Zhuo Fan huffed. Besides, I just knew you have no bone in your back when I took you. There's nothing odd about a few atrocities or a double crossing here and there. Shangguan Yulin's face twitched. For God's sake. The sicko's mocking me. He did hold his tongue though, since he knew it was true, even if forced. I used to be such a compassionate young master back in the eastern lands, always upholding righteousness. How did it get to betraying one's roots the minute I came here? Twice even. But even if others don't know this, I'm still hurting from it. Then that punk kept on mocking me earlier and now this sicko. This has got to be the worst year of my life. Shangguan Yulin lamented his fate as he heard the mockery coming from the darkness. Unaware that the ones he was cursing were one and the same. Though it was better this way, lest he die from anger having been condescending enough for today, Shuofan got down to business. Now why am I here bothering wasting words with you? It's for 2 reasons. You can betray anyone but your master. You still have my mark on you, so do watch out if you value your puny life. Yes, I'll hold your warning to heart. Shangguan Yulin shuddered in fear, sneering. Shuofan continued, and don't forget your promise. What's yours is mine. What the Shangguan clan wants, I also want. Yes, I'll never ever forget. Shangguan Yulin slowed his shaking head and bowed again. Shuofan nodded. Since you know now, next is the word you sent. Walk me through it. Yes, master. It's nothing much, just that the Shangguan clan has a rough grasp of flying cloud mana, lacking in a few places. They need that punk, Jiyu Yifan, to scout them. Oh, a map of the mana. Grinning, Shuofan said, this way the map will be complete. Disciple, make me a copy as well. Shuddering, Shangguan Yulin's eyes darted around. What's the sicko planning to do with it? Is he after the manners things as well? Then. Shangguan Yulin squinted, his mind calculating. Then he clenched his fists and said, yes, I will have it, master. I'll leave it to you then, ha. The darkness receded, revealing the room again, but the weird laughter echoed in his ears. I'll be dropping by again when the map is finished. As the cackling faded, Shangguan Yulin revealed an icy smile. Humph, you damn freak, I'll be sure to give you a thoroughly deadly map. Meanwhile, Shuofan felt great lashing at Shangguan Yulin. It was oddly therapeutic, walking back to his room to see Jiyu Santong bored on the bed and playing with a new wooden toy. Shuofan knew it wasn't from him. Did the girl give it to you? Yeah. Quite childish, I see, for a 300-year-old man. Aren't you the same? Scaring children again? Jiyu Santong quipped back as he played. Shuofan chuckled. It's not scaring him, but controlling. While I am the connection between Flying Cloud Manor and the Shangguan clan in the open, he has 2 dark ties. I can control the Shangguan clan's actions, but he can influence Bailey Jingwei's decisions. By controlling him, I control the whole stage. Is he that happy to listen to you? Jiyu Santong asked. He can't be trusted. Shuofan nodded with a vague smile. He doesn't need to listen to me to use him. I just have to prod him in the right direction and we're set. While the 2 sides are at war, we'll be getting what we want and flee. And auntie? Jiyu Santong spoke casually. Shuofan shrugged. That's Shangguan Feixiong's problem, since she's his daughter. We just need to focus on ourselves. We'll finish our end and then go to the next area. Jiyu Santong stiffened, then sighed. Chapter 894, Sword King's Visit. Chapter 894, Sword King's Visit. Proofreader, Papatonks. The world was tranquil around one gazebo, as a stream trickled by and birds danced in the light breeze. Paradise Bailey Jingwei, Shangguan Feiyun and Danqing Shun were having tea here, when something flashed closer and closer. Bailey Jingwei put out his hand and a jade slip rested in it. Scanning it, Bailey Jingwei grinned at the 2. The plan went perfectly. Shangguan clan doesn't suspect a thing, while Shangguan Yulin had done a great job in finishing his mission, dispelling any doubts anyone might have. Who knew that feisty girl had a son so cautious and sinister? That means she must have gotten a doormat for a man, ha. Grinning, Shangguan Feiyun said, did he say what Shangguan Feixiong is planning next? Bailey Jingwei nodded. Of course, it appears your niece has been going around the manor and got a grasp of the area. But there's still 5 places she couldn't go to. Now they want to have Grandmaster Jiyu to scout them to be safe. Humph, I see. Shangguan Feiyun sneered. I'd have opened the manor from the start if I knew this, to let them scout to their heart's content so they could attack already. It makes taking them all down faster. Bailey Jingwei shook his head. Sword King Feiyun, You're wrong. Haste makes waste. If it'd be that easy to get into Flying Cloud Manor, it would only make them more suspicious. And Shangguan Feiyun looked him in the eye. When Grandmaster Jiyu arrives, the ban will still be there. With such a tiny radiant stage cultivation, he'll hardly take a step inside. He won't find anything, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei chuckled, going by Sword King Feiyun's words, who knows when our plan will take effect. But like I said before, we'll destroy them in 2 weeks and not a day later. I don't have the time to play around Sword King Manor. I'm a busy man. Then what do you want to do? Have someone show him the way and fill in the blanks. With a confident smile, Bailey Jingwei said, starting tomorrow, we'll invite him to the manor, for fun, drinks and meals, while giving him room to finish up the map. In this process, we need to adjust our attitude, make him believe we appreciate his alchemical talent while dispelling any doubts. When the Shangguan clan makes its move, we can also contain Grandmaster Jiyu so the thieves won't disturb him. Shangguan Feiyun nodded and mocked, Prime Minister Bailey, you're still placing Grandmaster Gu's safety as top priority. You sure like your talents, ha ha ha. As the Empire's Prime Minister, it's only natural for the Empire to seize talent. Bailey Jingwei smiled and looked at the ever-silent Danqing Shen, Dragon-Cleaving Sword King. Iron Sword King Feiyun are more familiar with the Shangguan clan. It would arouse suspicion if any of us would go. I ask that Sir go tomorrow and invite Grandmaster Jiyu to the manor, to show my great regard for him. Danqing Shen nodded. Meanwhile, at Shangguan clan's interim base, there were a dozen people in the three venerables' room. Clan head was present with the best experts his clan had, all in Genesis stage, yet they all had shadows flitting across their faces rubbing his forehead. Shangguan Feixiong replied in annoyance, I didn't want to affect morale while in the parlor, and only celebrated Yifan's great success. But with all important figures of the clan here, the pillars, I must be frank. There's too many unknowns regarding this second ambush which amplifies the danger beyond our estimates. Clan head, are you referring to Bailey Jingwei and Danqing Shen? The men all knew the source of his vexation. Shangguan Feiyun sighed, yes, they are the greatest variables to our mission. Danqing Shen is the best of Western lands, Shangguan Feiyun's equal. With them working together, the manor's power just doubled. And that isn't even the worst part, since our three venerables can hold them back for a time. The crux is that Bailey Jingwei, sagely statesman, Bailey Jingwei, is cunning and devious. For almost a century now, the Four Lands have suffered from his tangled schemes. One venerable sighed, if he draws us into a corner and works with the two Sword Kings, our losses will be catastrophic. The others nodded heavily. However, Bailey Jingwei isn't like the two Sword Kings. In this game of chess, he is deploying the men. As the leader, he must know the other side's moves lest he comes under a surprise attack and throws his own side into confusion. Just how much does he know about our mission? Shangguan Feixiong's eyes flashed, if he's oblivious, we can use the map to assault the manor and increase our chances even with two Sword Kings. While the opposite is also true. Of course he knows. His Bailey Jingwei, the wisest man in the Swordstar Empire. Nothing escapes him. I wonder about that. He came here to hold the Pill King Convention and help heal the Crown Prince. He might not know about us. You mean Shangguan Feiyun wouldn't tell him? Ha ha ha, you don't understand Shangguan Feiyun. He's too prideful and arrogant. He'll never lower himself and call for help when his domain is in trouble, especially a sage. Shangguan Feixiong's words threw the room into chaos as everyone started talking. Some were for the mission now that they had such a great chance. Getting eyes and ears inside the enemy base was too rare of an occasion to pass up, while others opted to wait for Danqing Shen and Bailey Jingwei to leave first, as they posed the greatest threat. Shangguan Feixiong was plagued with indecision. This choice affected the life and death of his clan's main force. It was too much for him to bear. A rash choice here would damn his clan. It led to the Shangguan clansmen arguing on and on, well into the evening and then into dawn. Yet they showed no signs of stopping. Still noon found Shangguan Feixiong's ears clogged with all the buzzing, but no outcome arose. Even now the safe return of his spies, Shangguan Yulin and Zhuo Fan, proved Bailey Jingwei was none the wiser. Or he'd have already caught them the minute they raised his suspicions. Shangguan Yulin assured him as well that Bailey Jingwei was only here to select alchemists to heal the Crown Prince's condition. Everything pointed to him being here for the Crown Prince and not them. Thus, Shangguan Feixiong called this meeting to discuss how to proceed. He could never otherwise ignore someone like Bailey Jingwei appearing out of nowhere, especially when he came with the dragon-cleaving sword. King Shangguan Feixiong has so much trust in his nephew that he was willing to go against his principles. It was also why he was now having a headache from all the shouting cries came from outside that broke the noise within the room. A man burst into the room, scared to death. Clan head, there. How dare you barge into the Venerable's room? We're in the middle of important talks. What the hell got you so shaken to run here? Shangguan Feixiong wiped his head around to bark at the Soul Harmony stage guard with no time for manners. The guard looked like he'd seen a ghost. An old man came. And just an old man sent you in a panic? He said, his dragon-cleaving sword king. What? Everyone froze, their faces paling. Shangguan Feixiong was really anxious now. Is he alone? Was there anyone else with him? The guard stammered, no, but he said that he came to see Grandmaster Gu. Young miss had me come notify you, clan head, on what to do. You idiot. What are you coming to me for? Go see Gu Yifan. He's the clan head of this house. Go have him deal with Dan Qing-shen. Shangguan Feixiong cursed. The guard startled, darted from the room, and bobbed his head in panic, now rushing to Zhua Fan's room sweating buckets. Shangguan Feixiong and the others were shaken up, giving a stiff nod. Let's go check what Dan Qing-shen's up to. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.